not ready to go yet, okay? I'm not ready. You gotta wait. I got shit to do. I'm in the middle of something, all right? Just hold on.
Watch your mouth or don't come in here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, people, come on, we're adults here.
You know what? What is the point?
Yeah, we're adults here. I got a fucking Burger King fucking thing on my head. We're all fucking adults here, guys. People in my chat, 2 words. What are they? 2 words. Let me see the chat flood. Let me see the chat flood. 2 words. Okay, next caller. Please. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, which translate in American to dick and balls.
I got flip-flops. These are my flip-flops. Yeah, I really like my flip-flops because I can put them on. Because look, watch me put them on. I can put them on all by myself. Watch me put them on. Look, are you watching? Look, these are my flip-flops.
Thanksgiving Day. I remember it clearly. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was inserting myself in somebody else's fucking business as a cash grab, and you know.
This channel is harsh reality.
Karen Yak se jodió la sucia vida. Amen.
This is Jonathan Lee Riches. I have cheeseburgers. I'm gonna put cheese on them. I'm gonna make sure that I have my hamburgers because I'm a big boy now and I can make the hamburgers. My mom lets me use the stove now.
And I'm just like, wow, I like receipts, and they brought receipts. Like they had evidence to back up everything they said. And I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be another side to this, right? Like, this can't. No, this is too fantastic.
Yeah, because you're not going to just jump to the conclusion that there's a conspiracy amongst cops to cover up a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, cops and just like soccer moms and shit. Like, that's what made it even crazier. Like,
yeah, get it, Betty. Yeah,
did you have a close relationship with your mom?
Get it, Betty.
Oh, of course, I still do.
Yeah.
My older sister was kind of sad. She was more of the prissy girl that like going
That is
and
the
getting their
best
hair done.
shit fucking
Shopping for the dresses with mommy. I was the tomboy that liked playing with the feet.
Shout out to Cherry for just being easily the most faithful and loyal supporter that I've ever had, man. That someone could have that tenacity with loyalty. And I'm really blessed to have someone like Cherry be part of this channel and in my life. So it means a lot. And yes, I named him after Mr. T and Rocky. Say, woman. Say, woman. Say, woman. Since your old man ain't got no heart, why don't you come down to my apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man. Oh my God, I'm so in love with this little dude. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. I love you guys very, 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 very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends. Oh, say bye. Say bye. Oh, I love you too. Give me a kiss. Oh, I love you. Bye, guys.
Karen left
Good afternoon, my friends. I hope everybody's doing well. Good to see you guys. I'm coming to you live from Boston. Interesting day today. But yeah, it's great being here. So far so good. I got here yesterday. And everybody's been great.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
How dare you?
Beck, thank you so much. Wanky Hanky ruining his career for 75K is frustrating and fun to see. I perfectly put, like, those were exactly my feelings in the courtroom today. He's literally the weasel version of Lally. Go fuck yourself, Wanky, and enjoy the ruined reputation. Love you, Will. I love you too, Beck. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And Buzzing for Truth, member for 13 months. Wow. Thank you so much. Will, where are you hiding? I'm right here, man. I'm right here. Yeah, man. Today was wild. Yeah, so I hope everybody watched the hearing today. What am I talking about? Of course you did. And I hope everyone watched it on Attorney Melanie Little's channel. And there's my man Brian Hale. Got to hang out with Brian Hale a little bit outside of the courthouse today. Brian Hale takes some amazing pictures, guys. So make sure, if you're on Instagram, to follow Brian Hale on Instagram. It's Brian Hale Photo, HALE, all one word, Brian Hale Photo. So yeah, make sure to follow Brian Hale for all the really fancy schmancy free Karen Reed pictures. So yeah, and I'm sorry about the sound. I'm sure it's very echoey in here. It's kind of, yeah. I didn't bring my mic with me. So yeah, we're just gonna have to do the best we can. Now, yeah. Oh, hey, look, there's Kelly Reed. Hey, Kelly. And a big thank you to Kelly Reed for setting it up so I could have a seat in the courtroom. It was very kind of her. So thank you so much, Kelly Reed. Yeah, I know that the sound is fine, but it's better when you have a mic to speak directly into. So right now I'm just kind of using the my laptop built-in mic here, and yeah. So what a day. So I'm sitting there next to Kelly in the courtroom, and I'm sitting there, and at one point I lean over to her and I'm just like, I don't know how the fuck you guys been doing this shit for 3 years, dude. Like, this is crazy. Just fucking insane. I like, so not only, if you guys remember, I went over old Spanky's, old hashtag Spanky's, what do you call it? The opposition to the motion to reimburse Karen Reed for the $12,000 some odd dollars that she spent on expenses for an expert to come down to the Canton Police Department to review the DVR footage, and only to just be led. And oh, look, there's Liz Reed too. Hey, And only to I'm sitting there and I'm just like blown away. Like this guy, like if you guys remember, I'm sitting there and I'm talking about this on a live stream. I go over it. I show this dude in his motion says that Karen Reed's team never filed for a preservation order, never filed an order to preserve evidence. And we went over all that. And and sure enough, like even though I disproved it, Turtle Boy disproved it, anybody who went over that motion disproved that, right? And then dude there's the hearing today for it, and dude doubles down orally and says flat out that there was never any order filed, there was never any preservation order filed by Karen Reed's defense. Like I was seriously, like I was just annoyed. What's up, LV Cops TV? It's good to see you. I gotta see who that is though. I can't tell. Oh, it's Steve. What's up, Steve? So right, exactly. Olivia Nile. I'm telling you, I prefer streaming the hearings and talking about them with you guys than sitting in the courtroom. I do like sitting in the courtroom. I do enjoy the experience because it's very interesting, very fascinating. But when it gets frustrating is like, for example, today when I'm listening to Hank Brennan straight up lie, I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, hey, I got the fucking motion right here, dude. Like I wanted to stand up and be like, hey, I got it right here. Y'all need it? Because I literally I just screenshotted it a few days ago. Like I don't even have to go that far into my pictures. I can just, oh look, it's right here. And you know, and I'm telling Kelly this, and Kelly's like, dude, everybody in here has that motion in their phone, dude. Like I don't know what this guy's doing. Everybody in here has that shit. I mean, it was filed in February of 2022. John O'Keefe, I mean, just to give you some perspective, John O'Keefe was murdered by someone inside 34 Fairview Road on January 29th, 2022. January 29th, 2022. This motion was filed on February 2nd. February 2nd. Okay? Think about that. So, and remember, and I had to know. Remember, I went over I when I was talking about it, I was like, and Olivia even she was saying when I was talking about it in the chat, Olivia was like, that's just good lawyering. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's certainly good lawyering, but it indicates to me that he saw something wrong here. Harley CC, thank you so much. Hi, Will. Welcome to Boston. Sorry, I missed meeting you every time you're in town, but it's a dream of mine. Hi, Will. Welcome to Boston. Sorry, I missed you meeting you here every time, but it's a dream of mine. Okay. Harley 2 times. Thank you so much. Is that supposed to only be 1 C in your handle or 2? I don't know. I'm just fucking with you. Thank you, Haley. I appreciate you. It's a dream to meet you too. So I'm sitting there and when the hearing's over, you know, there's a moment where Davey and Eddie and I make eye contact and you know, acknowledge, say, you know, kind of a nod hello, and then I took advantage and I spoke to him, And I was like, dude, he straight up like lied up there. And he's like, you know, like, he's just used to it. He's just like, yeah. He's like, yeah. And I was like, dude, I have the motion. I was like, I almost wanted to like hand you my phone, you know? And he was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, it's the craziest thing in the world. And I was like, so did you have like I've never seen someone file that motion or bring that up in an arraignment, you know? And I was like, it seemed like you knew something was wrong that early on. He was looking at me as I was talking. He was like, that early on. He's like, I absolutely knew something was absolutely totally wrong with this whole thing at that point, which is exactly why I asked for that preservation order. He's like, because and the reason why I said that was because he had said, he's like, I didn't want to get here and this happened. So that's when I was like, so you anticipated, you were like, you know, you knew something was this wrong like back then. And he was like, oh yeah, like without even thinking about it. So Olivia Nile, I was right and you were wrong. Actually, we were both right, but I'm just kidding. No, I was just blown away listening to David Yannetti. I mean, I don't understand. I can only imagine how much I can only imagine how frustrating it is for an attorney for a defense attorney who actually has an innocent client and is this invested and it's one thing after the other. Now, I have been made privy to certain updates that will be revealed soon. I cannot discuss them. I won't discuss them, but you guys are going to be like, what? Yeah, crazy. Like, it just gets crazier. If you guys think that things are crazy now and they can't get any crazier, just wait. They are absolutely, totally insane. I can't even get over it. Romy gifted 10 memberships. Oh my God, Romy. Wow. Yeah, so you guys usually see me like chain smoking. I can't smoke in this place. This place is, you know, I don't really like to complain, but you know, there is a difference. There is a reason why there's a difference in price in Airbnbs and in hotels. I cannot control the thermostat in here, and that's a little annoying. Like, dude, come on. Can we have a little? Come on. Let's keep it together, people. Airbnb. Let's. Can we? Thank you. But no, it's okay. I have a roof over my head. I have a bed to sleep in. And the water's hot. So it's all good. Now, there's going to be a lot more like big, massive updates coming up soon. So stay tuned. You guys keep your ear to the grindstone. Um, am I doing what now?
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
How dare you?
Oh my god. This is funny. Just Jay, can you stand up and straighten the cabinet panel behind you? My OCD can. I know. I didn't even see this yet. Like I caught it and I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, I gotta fix that. That was driving me crazy too. Harley, thank you so much. Harley, it's Harley Cape Cod, aka Tammy. Okay, Tammy, thank you so much. I was just kidding with you about your name. And Romy, thank you so much. Are you digging the snow? Not really. Not really. Like that part of me that is impressed by snow like a fucking retard on a day on a day trip. Like that, when I see snow, that doesn't happen anymore. Like I grew up in Miami and that hardly happened because like I moved there from St. Louis, so I mean, so no, yeah, I'm not impressed with snow. And there was a lot of it today. And that just reminds me, because I was just standing out there. Maniacal Miss, thank you so much. Remember for 7 months. Is it ARCA related? You can't say, but is it? No. But yeah. So Will coming in with the teaser. Yes, Buzzing for Truth. Absolutely. Thank you so much. So yeah, I've gotta point out, man, like there's a reason. First of all, I want to say how blown away I constantly, always, throughout following this case, am by the boots on the ground folks, the people who are always out in front of the courthouse, whether it be a Turtle Boy hearing, whether it be a Karen Reed hearing. Today, many of them attended Peter Murphy's hearing to show Peter Murphy some support, which is awesome. If I didn't already have arrangements made at Karen Reed's hearing today, I would have liked to have attended that myself, because what they're doing to Peter Murphy is just fucking bullshit. Spiteful, petty bullshit. So I hope Peter Murphy beats these charges. He got like something, as I understand it, was like 6 months of something or whatever. He just can't like be on the property or something. Like no, who gives a shit? Nobody cares about having to be on that property. Nobody fucking cares about parking there. So yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's just they're just giving Peter Murphy a hard time. They're just giving him shit for calling out the Canton Police Department on their fuckery. So no, Peter Murphy is not the ex-police chief. No. But yeah, these folks, I mean, I was tapping out by the time after the hearing. I was out there for a while with those folks, and and I finally got to meet Grant. and which is great. We're gonna go over that. We're gonna talk about that a little bit. But yeah. Grant's something else, man. Grant's something else, dude. And the thing is I can't help it. All of the despicable shit that I've known him to do, I like the guy. I do. I like Grant. I don't have you know what I mean? I can't figure out what winds him up. But you know, I can't figure it out. But he was really nice to me. And polite. He was. I have no complaints about my first impression of meeting Grant at all. You know, I was like, just please stop lying, dude. Like, why do you need to lie so much? There's no need for that. And he, you know, and then and it's funny because Aiden Turtle Boy got into it with him. And I mean, it wasn't even, it was loud, but it wasn't even heated. Nobody was like mad at anybody. They were just, you know, it was a heated debate. But nobody was mad at anybody. But I mean, it was a discussion over, like, the thing is Grant, for some reason, along with anyone else, Aiden made a great point. And I got to give a shout out to Aiden as well, man. Cause like, he is so hospitable towards me when I come here. So nice. We had dinner last night. He picked me up and took me to we rode together to the hearing today. Gave me a ride home. We stopped, picked up some sandwiches. It was great. He's yeah, it was just really you know, it's just really funny because, like, as long as you're not a piece of shit, Aiden's not gonna like say bad things about you. You know what I mean? Like, don't be a piece of shit. Like, everybody's just like, oh my god, you know, Turtle Boy, he'll write this and he'll write that, and it's like, okay, but show me some of it that's not true. You know what I mean? Like, show me any of it that's just not true. You know, don't be a piece of shit. It's easy. Don't whine about Aiden writing about you if you're a piece of shit. And chances are he's not going to write about you unless you're a piece of shit. I didn't get I mean, yeah, sorry. I'm looking at some of the comments here, but no, man, like, just because. And I think that's that's a personality trait that I can really relate to him about, because I'm not going to hold back, and I'm not going to sugarcoat things and pretend to be cuddly and sweet. You know, I don't have the patience for that. So if I feel a certain way, I'm going to tell you how I feel. And I would rather interact with people with that personality trait than people who are going to be fake and be nice to me when they don't want to be nice to me. I don't want that. I with Aiden, at least you always know what you're going to get, you know? And if he gets along with you, he's going to be extremely hospitable. He's going to be very generous. Yeah. He's just a very he's just the guy doing the best he can with what his strengths are. And the fact is we're all here because he was so obnoxious about this information. This information is so fucking crazy, and everyone needs to be aware of it. So, you know, what do you expect? What do you expect a guy like him, or anybody? How do you expect anyone to get the kind of results, considering the circumstances, considering the facts of everything that we're aware of in this case. How do you propose anybody go about getting the information that gets us all here going, Karen Reed is absolutely innocent? So I mean, that's not gonna be handled by somebody with kid gloves, dude. That's not how that works. You don't get results like that, you know. So
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
How dare
Jenna Hags, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I live in a town over from Turtle Boy, and we would always say before going out for drinks, let's not end up on Turtle Boy. That's a good philosophy to have. That's a good guideline to yeah, absolutely. Oh, okay, that's good to know. Thank you, Kirk71. That's great. You know what would be awesome? I'd like to see Spanky do an interview. I'd like to see Spanky do an interview with Aiden. That's what I'd like to see. But you know, that's a pipe dream. That'll never happen. Because you know, he's not going to allow himself to be interviewed by somebody who's going to hold him accountable for his actions. So oh, no, really? Did Bev deny the motion? Did Bev deny the motion to reimburse Karen Reed for her expenses? I'm not shocked if that's the case. In any other case with any other judge, I'd be shocked. Not when it comes to Bev. Not when it comes to Bev. Yes, and thank you, Scott Messerschmidt. So Scott Messerschmidt just dropped the defense fund link in the chat. I just pinned it to the top of the chat. If you guys are feeling generous, please help Karen out as much as she can, because she needs us now more than ever. And again, I kind of got off my point though, but the boots on the ground people are amazing. Because I mean, I went into the courtroom. Court hearing lasted, I don't know, a little over an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I don't know. And we just stood out there, and as entertaining as it was to argue with Grant outside, and I don't like to say argue, but oh yeah, we're gonna go over that. The Street Squirrel, thank you, buddy. Yeah, we're gonna go over that too. On the way back from the courthouse, when he was dropping me off here, we were laughing about that. So the thing about Grant though is like Grant is annoying to everyone in there. Nobody picks on Grant. Like Grant sits there in a bullpen full of professional journalists, and he's the only one you can hear typing. And he's typing loud as shit. Like so loud. I don't know if you could hear it in the hearing, but we're gonna go over the hearing. We're gonna watch the hearing. We're gonna go over it. I got time. And I might step away to take a drag of a cigarette here and there, just because I always want to chain smoke while I'm live streaming, and I can't smoke inside the Airbnb, obviously. So, yeah, Dennis Sweeney was there. Dennis Sweeney went went to Peter Murphy's hearing to support Peter Murphy, and then came over to Karen Reed, to Karen Reed's hearing to support Karen Reed. Like, he could have just been like, oh, my good deed for the day is done. I'm going home. He didn't do that. No, these people are incredibly invested in what's going on here. And I wanted to tap out. Like, the second that Aiden was like, are you ready to go? I was like, fuck yeah, I'm ready to go. It was so cold. And these people nothing is going to stop them. Nothing is going to stop them. Because they believe in Karen's innocence that much. I believe in Karen's innocence that much. But I got to tell you, man, the stuff that these folks are made of is something else. Exactly, Dina. The stuff that you guys are made of is not what most people are made of. And I have so much respect for all of you for doing that all the time, whether it's raining, snowing. It even hailed for a while there, like literally rain, sleet, snow. These people will stand out there and support Karen Reed. They will support Turtle Boy. They will support Peter Murphy. They will support Rich Schiffer. They will support anybody who is being railroaded in any way, shape, or form by this local government. And yes, Brian Hale too. Yes. And Brian Hale's always out there shooting photographs. Tom CPU, always out there documenting what's going on out there. You know, it's just, yeah, it's amazing. These people are the most incredibly inspiring people in the world. Yeah, just really mind-blowing. Let me go over, let me see here. Let's see. Yeah, an hour and 45 minutes. Now, I wonder what happened right here. Let me show you guys what I'm looking at. I wonder what happened right here. See that? Now, I don't even know what the hell that was about. But yeah, this is just wild. And so try to keep your eye. Now, there's Aiden right there. Okay. Try to keep your eye on Aiden's computer screen because you can see it. So funny. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what all this is about.
To save me time, does your expert in his affidavit say that this information was erased or
So this guy right here, that's Jill Daniels' attorney. If you remember, this guy right here, that's Jill Daniels' attorney. If you remember, Tom was like, there was that one morning at Jill Daniels and Jim Ferris's hearing where Jim Ferris like shoved Tom. But before that, Tom sees him coming into the courthouse and Tom goes, "Good morning." And he goes, "Fuck you." So on the way in, this dude, he's saying hello to everybody. He's like, hello, hello, hello. And I was just like, what? No F you? I was really hoping he'd say fuck you to me, but I didn't get a fuck you from this guy. I was really hoping that would happen, but it didn't happen. But okay. This is so crazy. This whole thing is so crazy.
that it wasn't there?
Wasn't there.
Okay.
It was erased by an operation of automation.
But do I bother reading your expert's affidavit again so it's not in there?
And I'll address what
All
our concerns are in my oral statement.
All right. I hear
The
you.
court, may I?
Yes.
The court started by asking what is it that the defense is asking for. Basically, we're asking to be treated equitably and fairly. This really is an issue of equity, an issue of fairness. And the court maintains the inherent.
It's mind-blowing to me after how Alan Jackson presented this and argued this, that somehow she denies this still. And yeah, I just got the motion or Judge Bev's denial. She did deny it. We'll go over that as soon as we're done with this. But dude, like I don't understand how she could deny after Alan Jackson's argument here.
The inherent authority to issue sanctions when there is an injustice. And those sanctions can include something like cost-shifting sanctions. And there's a body of law that exists that deals with this exact thing. And that body of law includes the case of the Committee for Public Counsel Services versus the Attorney General. That's at 480 Mass 700. It's a 2018 case. The court may remember what was, I think, pretty widely known here in these parts, which was the Amber scandal. Had a bunch of cases going back from 2010 all the way through.
I'm very familiar with the case.
All the way through 2018, and it culminated with Justice Gaziano discussing in his.
Did anyone notice? Has anyone noticed that Judge Bev has probably become a little self-conscious about breathing into the mic? Like when she just said that, and I'm very familiar with the case, she moved the mic to her mouth and then moved it away. And it's really awkward because I always wonder, like, if Bev watches this, if Bev watches my show, because like when I'm sitting there, like when you're in that courtroom and you're in that gallery, like you're sitting at Judge Beverly Cannoni's 12 o'clock. She is looking right at you. And that courtroom looks bigger on TV than it really is. It's really small. So yeah, like I could literally walk over to Bev from where I'm sitting if there was nothing obstructing the way in two very large steps. Like if I were to like to one big step and then another big step, that's where Judge Bev is. That's how far away she is from the gallery. So I I wonder sometimes because I'm just like, I don't hold back on my opinions about her. So I always wonder when I'm sitting there. But she's watching somebody. Somebody told her some shit about breathing into the mic. She must have went on Twitter one day and was just like, what? Because she's not doing it so much anymore. She like moves the mic towards her and away from her. And yeah. It's funny.
In his opinion, single justice opinion, exactly these types of things. And what Justice Gaziano said was, or held was, quote, the Attorney General does not dispute that the court has the authority pursuant to Rule 14, sub C, sub 1, to impose remedial monetary sanctions.
Now, I have her decision now. I just got it. So I'm going to go over it after this because I have to know. I'm dying to know what her justification for denying this motion is. It makes no sense to me.
Or a discovery violation. And he cites Commonwealth v. Firth, indicating that sanctions may be imposed under Rule 14 for failure to comply with discovery obligations, and sanctions should be tailored appropriately to cure any injustice resulting from a party's non-compliance with its discovery obligations. So the real question before the court today is and really the only question before the court today is, has Ms. Reed suffered any prejudice based on blatant discovery and Brady violations by the Commonwealth? And the answer to that question is a resounding yes, she has.
Resounding yes.
Ms. Reed, as the court knows, is on trial for her life, and she's been expending precious resources for some 3 years now, defending herself against provably false allegations. And at the center of that storm.
Dude.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
How dare you?
Romy, thank you so much. Will, your laugh is contagious. I love it. Good. I love that my laugh brings you joy. Thank you so much.
Are these Sally Port videos? It should be pretty straightforward, really. I mean, it's just a series of videos at a particular location for a particular time. And that time is January 29th, 2022, from midnight until 11:59. It's a 24-hour period, 23 hours and 59 minutes. It should be pretty simple, but it has been anything but simple in this case. We've been asking for a full download of every single one of those cameras and all that footage from January 29th, 2022, from 12 a.m. to 11:59, but we've never gotten it.
When did you first seek it?
We asked for the preservation on February 2nd, 2022, when Mr. Giannetti said, retain and maintain all physical evidence.
All physical evidence.
These videos since well before the first trial. We didn't get them before the first trial.
Do you have a date? Do you have any chronology for me?
I don't. I can certainly provide those, but it's been.
I'd like that. I mean, that would be.
I'll be happy to do that. It's in discovery request after discovery request after discovery request.
Right. Like at this point, I'm just sitting there listening to Alan Jackson say these things and just wonder, like, I'm always asking myself the same question, like, why is this happening still? Like you're seeing Alan Jackson is spelling it out, and he's saying discovery request after discovery request after discovery request. You should not be having to request discovery so often like that. That is crazy. That is part of your job. That is part of your obligation. If you are seeking justice, if you are a prosecutor who is who is trying to actually execute justice here, then why would you not? The first thing that you would do is make sure that you're not getting caught violating someone's rights. That's the first thing you do.
I would imagine, right? I mean, that's what cops do most of the time. That's what they do, right? They make sure that nobody's rights are being violated. Why do they make sure that nobody's rights are being violated? So that their defense attorney can't sit there in court and say, my client's rights were violated and I move to dismiss this case. But for some reason, the prosecution just can do this for 3 years. For 3 years, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts can just habitually step over the line. Habitual line steppers. I mean, habitually just violate her rights constantly. Like that's their whole strategy. Let's just fuck over Karen Reed and her rights and not give a shit what anybody says about it or thinks about it. It's wild, dude.
Basically, there's also a catch-all. We've been asking for all physical evidence concerning video footage from Canton PD from well before the trial. We didn't specify which cameras because we didn't know which cameras had video footage. We didn't know how many cameras there were, but we didn't get anything from the Commonwealth. And I'll address that in particular in just a second. Mr. Lally didn't give it to us before a full download before the trial. The Commonwealth didn't provide it during trial. And today, as I stand here, we still don't have it.
Still don't have it. So let me do this real quick, folks. I really want to get in the habit of doing this more because I'm just terrible about it. Sandy Sandy sent a Venmo for me saying, "We love you, Will." Thank you so much. And the last stream I did, she also sent one that says, "I think you're awesome, Will." That's very, very nice of you, Sandy. Thank you so much. If you guys want to show support to the channel, you can always on the right up there, you can see that QR code on the corner. You can just scan it and you can send Venmo. And that's really, really helpful. But I would encourage you to put that in the back seat to the link that I have pinned at the top, because Karen Reed really, really, really needs our help. Because this team is very expensive. This team is very expensive because they're that good, and she needs a team this good. Reason why she needs a team this good is because she's going after a corrupt local government, or I'm sorry, she's defending herself against a corrupt local government. She's going up against, not going after, but going up against a corrupt local government, and that is a problem. And you're not going to do that with one, decent lawyer. You're going to need a team of really good lawyers. This isn't, it's necessary. And this is the second trial. And if Bev denied this motion, I am just, what else am I supposed to think other than they're just trying to drain her funds? This is one of those times where I really wish that I had a bigger audience, only because I want to be able to reach more people and make them aware of this and hopefully help, Karen get more help, because this is, this is why I come here. I come here just because I don't know what else I can do. I can only do so much. I want to show up and show support because I wish I could do more. I really wish I could do more. Yeah, yes, absolutely, Christy. Please share it. Share it on your social media. If anybody asks you about it, tell them, educate them on this. I mean, do your best. I mean, chances are they don't have 3 days to sit there and listen to you talk about it because there's so much information. Oh my gosh, Aaron, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Aaron sends a Venmo and says, Nick Rocco's response to Bev's denial. Did we really think Judge Bev would give her the money back? Not a chance. Best way to make this denial better is to show Bev and the trolls how much we believe in Karen's innocence. Let's raise $12K tonight. There you go. That'd be great. Yeah, Nick Rocco has been a force when it comes to raising money for Karen Reed's defense. And you can see she needs it. This isn't just some case where it's like, if you believe in Karen, no. It's like, if you can donate, cool. You know, if you can't, that's cool too. I'm not shitting on anybody because they can't do something like that. But I am going to say that if you're not donating because you think that Karen Reed might still be guilty, you're fucking retarded. Not because you're not donating, because you think that she might be guilty still. You're fucking retarded if you think that. There's no fucking way that Karen Reed is not being framed for this crime. There's no way. Like, the whole thing that was going on with Grant outside, Grant is even to the point to where it's like, he wants to admit that Karen Reed is innocent. He wants to. He's dying to. But the problem is that he would have to backtrack and backpedal so much shit that he said already that it's just a question of pride, in my opinion, at this point. But you can tell. Like, I mean, Turtle Boy was getting frustrated with him because he's like, dude, just answer the question. How could the Canton police not see that tail light and then it's found later? It makes no sense. Like, it makes no sense. There's no way that the Canton police did not see pieces of tail light if they were there. There's just no way. I don't know, Wendy. That's where my conspiracy theory mind stays grounded. I don't go that far with it because I don't have anything to indicate that. I don't have any hard evidence to indicate this, that there was some deep motive behind murdering Boston police officer John O'Keefe with, you know, and some big conspiracy to murder him because of something that we're not aware of. I'm not ready to go there yet. I go based on what I know. And my money is on Higgins having the most motive, and I think he was the main aggressor. Personally, that's just my opinion. And it got really out of hand where other people in the house got involved, including Chloe the dog. And that's what I think happened. I think, yeah, I mean, Higgins trying to convince people that he was just moving cars around the Canton Police Department, even though we know now that he was on the phone when he said he didn't make any phone calls. So, I mean, what was he doing? Was he moving a body? Or was he trying to figure out how to move a body? Is what I meant to say. Was he trying to get a feel of what's going on? Was he making certain people at the Canton Police Department privy to the situation so that he would have backup, so he would have help? Right. I mean, that's true. Imagine the stuff we don't know. That's the whole thing. Like, one thing that I've always learned, every time I cover these cases, and you know, like my channel grows at a very small pace, and I'm very content with that because the people who watch me know why they're watching me, and they know why they watch me as opposed to the other true crime creators that they watch. And every single time there's a case, people are speculating and jumping to all of these conclusions right off the bat without having all of the information. And then when the case goes to trial, all kinds of shit comes out. All kinds of shit comes out that makes you go, "Oh my God, wow." So they were aware of they had this person locked as a suspect from the beginning. There's this, and this, and they were spending all this time building this case and collecting all this evidence, blah, blah, blah. And we didn't know this because we're not privy to the investigation itself until it comes out in trial. So, but in this case, this is the first case that actually went to trial where I was following it, and there was nothing new. There's really nothing new from the prosecution. The prosecution had nothing. Prosecution flat out failed to prove their case against Karen Reed. Flat out failed to prove their case. And now they have even less to work with. And it's going to trial again. And all of this is coming out of Karen Reed's pocket. This is all costing her thousands and thousands of dollars a day. It's bleeding her.
And interestingly, Mr. Brennan does make mention in his opposition that, quote, "at no time has the defense ever made a formal preservation request." I found that interesting for two reasons. And I have two comments about that. First, as the court record reflects, on February 2nd, 2022, I just referred to it, Mr. Yannetti filed a preservation demand for, quote, "all physical evidence to be maintained." That DVR, the footage on the DVR, is physical evidence that was required, not requested, but required to be maintained by the Commonwealth pursuant to that demand.
And Brennan's argument against this is so shitty that I'm like, what? I'm still blown away that again, it's Judge Bev, so I'm not surprised. To me, her denying that motion was just a jab because she just doesn't like Karen Reed. That's the only thing that I can think of.
But second, and this is probably more important, it wouldn't have mattered if we didn't ask for it.
Right.
To be maintained. It wouldn't have mattered.
And there's Olivia's original argument when we were talking about this before. Olivia's argument was, it's their obligation to preserve the evidence anyway. You shouldn't have to file a fucking motion to get the prosecution to meet their obligations that are already implied. They're already there. Their obligations are set. That's their job.
If we didn't ask for it to be preserved. This was a self-executing duty by the Commonwealth. As Justice Gaziano stated in the same case, the Committee for Public Counsel, quote, "a prosecutor's core duty is to administer."
Angel, thank you so much. AJ did an amazing job today. Love seeing the gloves come off. I look forward to this motion to dismiss argument. Love your channel, Will. Thank you so much, Angel. I appreciate it.
Justice fairly. To fulfill that duty, a prosecutor is required to turn over exculpatory evidence to a defendant without regard to its impact on the case. The failure to disclose evidence favorable to an accused that is material either to guilt or to punishment is a violation of due process. Litigation strategy plays no role in this process. Under our rules of professional conduct, a prosecutor is required to make timely disclosure to the defense of all evidence or information known to the prosecutor that tends to negate guilt of the accused or mitigate the offense. And he cites Massachusetts Rule of Professional Conduct 3.8, subsection D. The Commonwealth's Brady obligation is self-executing, Your Honor. It wouldn't have mattered one whit if we didn't ask for that footage, but it turns out that, in fact, Mr. Yannetti did ask that it be maintained. And the Commonwealth has still failed to preserve it. What we have gotten, it appears, are scraps and fragments of videos that the Commonwealth has decided on their own, and within their own time frame, to dole out to us over the course of months and years. And included in that scrap and fragment was a video that was missing 42 minutes. The court is well aware of this video. It was heavily litigated and heavily referenced at the first trial. That's the exact.
Yeah. So what Alan Jackson's basically saying here is, it's not a question of litigation. It's not a question of lawyering. It's not a question of arguing a case. It's just their fucking obligation to share discovery because the evidence could be exculpatory. That's it. If you're trying to avoid the defense from having an argument, if you're trying to actively keep the defense from having evidence that could exonerate the defendant, if you're trying to keep this actively, if you're making a conscious effort to do this, you are absolutely obstructing justice. And your role is literally to act in the interest of justice. So what are we supposed to think? The fuck are we supposed to think?
Time frame, the missing portion, is the exact time frame that the SUV was being pulled into the Sallyport. We got that video on April 4th, just days before the first trial. Keep in mind, it's a video from January 29th, 2022. Another one of those videos was the inverted video that has now seen some fame, that the Commonwealth tried to sell to the jury as a true and correct copy of a video within the Sallyport, and we got that one after the trial started, in the middle of trial.
Right.
So why were we getting
motion after motion after motion? Pre-trial, previous trial, motion after motion after motion to preserve evidence. Why? Or to not preserve it, but to share discovery with the defense. Why was this such a chore the entire time? It makes no sense. I mean, it makes sense if you're speculating that the Commonwealth is trying to railroad an innocent woman. It makes perfect sense. But not if she's guilty. Makes no sense. If she's guilty and you're so fucking sure she's guilty, give the defense everything that they're asking for. Do I believe OJ did it? I mean, why that matters? I don't know, but yes, yeah, of course. OJ totally fucking did it. Everyone knows OJ did it.
Videos from January 29th, 2022, 2.5 years later. And why were some of those videos altered or manipulated and not in their proper format? We still don't have answers to those questions. And literally, while we're asking that question and while we're pondering that question, a couple of days ago, we're getting yet more videos, scraps, piecemeal. We got another Sallyport video just a few days ago. This one showing the Lexus backing into the Sallyport from some exterior camera. And that also is exculpatory evidence. Mr. Brennan writes in his opposition that the idea that the defense has been misled or was misled in its efforts to try to go secure that DVR footage is a distortion of the facts with, quote, no legal merit. Really? A distortion of the facts with no legal merit? Where's all this footage coming from, if not the DVR? It's the only place it was held. It's the only place it was captured. So
it's the source.
We were misled.
It's
by
the source.
Continually getting these.
So why are you okay? Number one. Why is every single time, like if the every time they ask for Sally Port footage or security camera footage from the Canton Police Department, especially the Sally Port video, there's all these pieces missing, right? All these pieces are missing. It looks altered. It's chopped. There's times that skip. And so what that tells me is okay, well, why are the times skipping? Why is this not just running from this time to this time? That's the question I would ask if I'm on Karen Reed's defense team. And then, of course, the prosecution is going to say things like, it's motion activated. So that's why there's timepieces missing. Cool. Okay. Motion activated. Acceptable answer. So in order for me to know if I'm properly making an effort to defend Karen Reed here, in order for me to know that that footage wasn't edited, that it wasn't tampered with, that it wasn't cut, what's the only way to be sure of that? Anyone? Inspect the original DVR. Inspect the NVR for the original footage. Show me that these cuts are in the original DVR that's captured. Piney Woods Law and Crime, thank you so much. What got me, Will, was Bev was dismissing AJ's argument out of hand. I was screaming at the screen, enjoying the live stream. Oh, thank you so much, Piney Woods. Awesome. And I hope you had a good time in Tennessee. What got me, Will, was Bev was dismissing AJ's argument out of hand. Right. Yeah, she was extremely dismissive of it. It's really weird.
Piecemeal snippets of footage from the DVR, from the very source, had to have come from there, coupled with the Commonwealth saying, and Mr. Brandon saying, yeah, come on out. You can have your expert come out, meet us at Canton. We'll provide the DVR. You can have him look at it. He can bring his equipment, download whatever you want from that 24-hour period. So what were we to believe? That it was on the DVR.
Right.
It had to be. How else were we getting these piecemeal videos? And they've had that DVR for 3 years. They knew exactly what was and what was not on that DVR. They had to have. This has been the center of a storm that surrounded this case from the jump. And to claim otherwise, it's just patently absurd. So Mr. Brennan also wrote in his opposition that Mr. Jackson said, don't touch the DVR, don't mess with it. So I informed Chief Rafferty, tell your staff, don't touch it, don't mess with it, almost intimating that it's my fault that we didn't know what was on the DVR. That's absurd also. How am I supposed to know what is or isn't on the Commonwealth's DVR? What I actually said, that was a sort of a liberal interpretation of the facts. What I actually said was, Mr. Brennan, do me a favor if we're going to come out there.
I could never do what these guys do, dude. So many people that are like, oh, Will, you should have been a lawyer. No, I could never do what Alan Jackson's doing right now. being so kind with his words in a case like this. I could not do it. I would fucking melt down in the courtroom. I would lose my shit. It was a very liberal interpretation of the truth. That's what Alan Jackson, in order to sound professional, to not, to maintain professionalism, he has to say that instead of going, this dude straight up fucking lied. This dude is a fucking liar. You know what I mean? I couldn't fucking do it. I couldn't stand up there looking at Judge Beverly Cannoni and go, I was a liberal interpretation of the truth. No, I would be like, no, it's not a liberal interpretation of the truth, Your Honor. This dude fucking lied. This dude is a fucking liar.
Just don't have anybody download it in advance. Let's do it all together when we're all in the same place. That's what I said. And he accommodated that. He said, sure, we'll agree to that. So based on this history of getting these small clips from January 29th, we knew there had to be more footage. So when Mr. Brennan came on board, we made the request to him as well as the requests that we had made to his predecessors. We want all the footage for that 24-hour period. And lo and behold, we started getting more clips, more snippets, more piecemeal bits and bytes from that DVR. And one of them was a clip of Brian Higgins standing out in front of Canton Police Department.
I mean, I get it. I get it. I get that it's, you can't take it personally because court is always adversarial. I get all that. What I'm saying, though, is that's why I couldn't fucking do it. There's cases I could do and I could just, yeah, sure. You know what I mean? Like, keep my cool. I would imagine so. But this case, there's no way that I could keep my cool after 3 years, the way that Alan Jackson, the way that David Yannetti have been, the way that Karen Reed has been. I don't know. I don't think I just couldn't fucking do it. 3 years of just straight bullshit. I don't have patience for that kind of shit. I just don't. It's not in my DNA. I cannot. I can't muster up the patience to put up with that shit.
Freezing cold at 1:35 in the morning on January 29th on his cell phone. To punctuate the importance of that video footage, recall that this issue was raised at trial. We talked extensively. When I say we, both the Commonwealth and the defense, me in particular, spoke with Mr. Higgins about this issue. It was raised at trial, and Brian Higgins never once, not once, on direct examination or on cross-examination.
How did I stay calm? Respect. That's what it boils down to. It's out of respect for the Reed family, out of respect for Karen, and I mean, what you do is you follow suit as best as you can. You see how they're handling it, and if you want to be supportive of them genuinely, then you try to handle it the same way, at least in the same setting that they're in. You're in their house, you're in their playing field, so you do things out of respect for them and how they handle things. It's that easy. It would have been, it's not a question of whether or not I want to show Judge Bev's honorable court respect. It's not a question of that. It's a question of respect for the Reeds. It's simple. Like it just boils down to that.
Admitted to having made a phone call in the middle of the night on January 29th. And yet now, after the trial, we get a video of him doing exactly that. And that also proves that he lied in front of a federal jury. I'm sorry, in front of a federal grand jury, when he testified that he didn't have or make any phone calls in the middle of the night. That is called exculpatory evidence. And that's Brady evidence. And it was withheld in its entirety during the first trial and for the last 3 years. And it's against that. The reason I bring that up, Your Honor, it's against that backdrop that we then say to Mr. Brennan, kindly give us the footage. I don't want this piecemeal thing to keep going on. Just give us the raw footage. We'll send an expert. So the plan was put in place, and experts were retained, and flights were booked, and hotels were reserved, and transportation was arranged, and all at Miss Reed's expense. She's writing the check for all of this. And our expert flies out to Canton, walks into the room, and within 10 minutes, they open up the front plate of the DVR, and lo and behold, Commonwealth says and agrees, oh goodness, there is no footage. It was overwritten within 30 days. What? How could that possibly be? So
yeah, what everyone's overlooking here is why wasn't that information as far as how the Sallyport video or how the DVR footage captures and is preserved or not preserved? Why wasn't this disclosed to Karen Reed's defense from the beginning? Sure, you can come down here and look at the DVR, but you should know that it automatically overwrites after 30 days. It erases and something else gets recorded and overlaps it, tapes over it, for lack of a better term. Tapes over it, basically. Why wouldn't they say that? Like when discussing in the first place, hey, I'm going to have an expert fly out from Phoenix, Arizona. It's going to cost a lot of money. And we want to inspect the DVR specifically for the footage of January 29th, 2022. Of January 29th, 2022 from 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. So why wouldn't somebody just tell them that?
the expert calls me. Mr. Jackson, what do you want to do? And I said, I don't know. I'm not a tech. That's your job. I don't know what to do. If it's overwritten within 30 days, I don't know. Maybe there's a log. Let's find out who has access, whose digital fingerprints were on that DVR, who downloaded the footage, when it was downloaded. What about these clips that we have? I'm very confused. So the expert goes back and says to the technician for the Commonwealth, Colleen Crawford, well, let's at least download the log. At least we can have access to that and we can start unraveling what's going on here. Oh, sorry, that's been overwritten as well. There is no log. You get no footage, you get no log. This was a complete and utter waste of time. According to the Commonwealth, that system, as I said, overwrites every 30 days. So by February 28th, I counted them. By February 28th, 2022, every single frame of that footage should be gone. So how did we get the inverted video?
Right.
April of 2024. How did we
I
get
love
the video
again.
clips of Brian Higgins?
I love when lawyers validate the shit I say on this show. I love it. Because at some point, I've said this numerous times, at some point, that footage from that DVR, there's an unedited version of that footage. That footage had to have been extracted at some point in its entirety in order for it to be edited, in order for it to be chopped up, in order for it to get inverted. You don't chop up something that's already chopped up. I mean, you could, but how did it get chopped up in the first place? So, how did it get chopped up in the first place? There had to have been footage. There had to have been that footage in its entirety on a hard copy for it to get chopped. It had to have been extracted from the DVR or the NVR, whichever way you want to put it. It had to be extracted from that system, from that device, in order to be edited. Where's the original?
In October of 2024. How is that possible? The only explanation, Your Honor, is that the Commonwealth downloaded the entire system within the first 30 days.
Right.
Otherwise, it's gone, admittedly. And all of that has been withheld from us for 3 years. Then to add salt to that wound, the Commonwealth allows us to go on this wild goose chase, spend $12,000 some odd dollars of Miss Reed's money, and fly an expert out to Canton for absolutely no reason. Zero. The 30-day override protocol is something that their technician absolutely would have and should have and did know before we ever set foot in Canton. She was well aware of exactly why we were going out there. We were going out there to download footage from 3 years earlier. She knew it, we knew it, Mr. Brennan knew it, everybody knew it. But within 10 minutes of walking in the door, it was revealed that there, in fact, was no footage. And that's a fact that the Commonwealth had to have been aware of for the last 3 years. Yet Karen Reed is the one having to foot the bill for what turned out to be just
foolish. It would be foolish and naive to think otherwise. So I agree with Melanie Little on that, Don Mason, 100%. Now, I don't know this for a fact, but if it's coming from Melanie Little, I'm going to trust that it's valid. And the interesting thing about that is why wouldn't it have that feature? This is 2025, dude. You're going to tell me that, like, I mean, why wouldn't it have the feature in a police station where, okay, this needs to be preserved? You could put a setting in there and say, this needs to be preserved. This is important. Okay. February 2nd was easily within that 30 days. Easily within that 30 days. February 2nd, when that motion was filed saying this needs to be preserved, we need all evidence preserved, everything, then it was the Commonwealth's obligation to walk into the Canton PD or email somebody at the Canton PD, even call somebody, what the fuck ever, and say, hey, listen, there's an order here to preserve all evidence. Make sure that any footage taken of Karen Reed's vehicle in this police station gets preserved, gets held onto, gets, make sure it doesn't get erased. We need to hold on to that. That was the Commonwealth's obligation. Now, there shouldn't have even a motion filed for this isn't something that was even necessary to happen. I mean, clearly it was necessary, but it's not something that you would normally have to ask for. They're already obligated to do this. The scenario that I just hypothetically described, that I just described as a hypothetical, the scenario I just described is exactly what the Commonwealth should have done. It's exactly what they should have done. And there shouldn't have even been a motion filed necessary. It shouldn't have been necessary to do it. But David Yannetti foresaw that something was seriously wrong. Something at the Canton PD, something fucking shady with the Canton PDs going on. I want to make sure everything is preserved. Every little fucking thing. I don't give a fuck what it is. And we'll decide whether or not it's exculpatory. But they didn't preserve it. They didn't even make an effort to preserve it. One might even argue that they went out of their way to make sure that it wasn't preserved.
It's not fair, and the Commonwealth should reimburse her for this fool's errand that was not of our making, of her making. The Commonwealth has since told us, Mr. Brennan told us, that remarkably he went to Canton PD, and this is in his opposition paperwork in his declaration, and he spoke with some officer. And that officer told him that he, the officer, personally made a copy of the entire January 29th video footage and placed that copy in some sort of an iCloud account. Not on the DVR system, not in the official data bank in which it's supposed to be stored, but on some iCloud account. And we're finding out about this in 2025. It's outrageous. What it is this entire situation surrounding this DVR and the Commonwealth's maintenance of that DVR and the footage on it is a complete dumpster fire. And Ms. Reed has to pay for the fire extinguisher. And that's not fair. The High Court and the Committee for Public Counsel, the same case that I referenced a little bit earlier, and the court will know this because this was sort of the big takeaway from that case is Justice Gaziano fashioned a cost-shifting remedy against the Commonwealth and for the defense. And that included the entire cost of investigating and locating and contacting nearly, I think it was 10,000 defendants. It was an enormous amount of money and an enormous undertaking. And the Commonwealth had to foot that entire bill. And the reason they had to foot the entire bill is because the Supreme Court decided that it was prosecutorial discovery violations and cost-shifting remedies were in order. We're asking absolutely no more than that from this court. Fairness dictates that Ms. Reed be reimbursed. And I'll submit, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Brennan?
Guy.
It's notable that the defense purposely conflates two very separate issues. We had a chance to read their motion. They suggest that they should receive costs because they hired an expert, came to Canton, and didn't receive the information they wanted. Yet today in the argument, they try to give you a historical complaint about the production of videos in this case. That is a separate issue. That's a Rule 14 issue, but that is not the motion before the court. The reason I suggest they conflate the issues is because they know their merit for costs. I mean, their motion for costs has no merit whatsoever. And so what they're trying to do is incite facts, invoke this injustice they've created so that the court looks at the motion that they actually filed and gets it distorted. It is disappointing to stand before a court and file an affidavit as an attorney and have someone else have a cross affidavit. Frankly, in my career, when that has happened on rare occasions, I find that embarrassing. There is very skilled and able attorneys in this courtroom, and to work out discovery matters and agreements is something that attorneys always should do. And that is what I've tried to do in this case. I have tried to give the defense the best opportunity I can to get whatever information they want.
You see what I'm talking about? Like, listen to this asshole talking about, oh, I tried to give them what they want. There's just no pleasing this defense team. There's just no pleasing them. No, motherfucker. You're acting like they're asking you to fucking move mountains for them and move mountains for Karen Reed. That's not what they're asking you to do. They're asking you to meet your fucking obligation as a prosecutor. Your basic fucking day one obligation, which is to provide discovery, to maintain, to preserve evidence so that it can be properly reviewed. I mean, and then this guy's whining, acting like somebody's hurting his feelings. I did everything I could to help them. I did everything that they want. No, bro, like fucking, I don't want to hear that shit. Like there's first an excuse oh, well, the DVR overwrites after 30 days, and then, the footage is gone. I don't do that. I don't have anything to do with the DVR and how the DVR works. I didn't invent the DVR. I didn't put the DVR in the Canton police station. I didn't set the DVR to fucking delete stuff after 30 days. And no, bro, like you're sitting here making fucking excuses, dude. I don't want to hear that shit. Meet your basic day one fucking obligation as a prosecutor, preserve the evidence, and provide the discovery to the defense. That's it. I want to hear fucking whiny excuses. Well, you're coming at me as though the DVR is my responsibility. I didn't have anything to do with the DVR. Dude, nobody takes any accountability in this fucking case. Like, nobody who is nobody who is obligated to take accountability in this case is taking any, has taken any. It's been 3 years of a bunch of fucking cops and lawyers, prosecuting lawyers going, man, I don't know, man. Ask him. You're going to have to ask that dude. I don't know. The fuck is that? But they're so fucking sure that Karen Reed killed John O'Keefe. Get the fuck out of my face. It's unbelievable, dude. I just can't wrap my head around how Judge Bev is just allowing this to go on.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
How dare you?
Paul Croak, thank you so much. Tully said in court that Chief Rafferty, sent the thumb drive over personally, dropped it off Sallyport video. Right. Yeah. Tully testified in the last trial that Chief Rafferty handed him the thumb drive of the Sallyport video. So my money is on whoever handed Chief Rafferty that thumb drive is responsible for the Sallyport video. Now, ultimately, Chief Rafferty is responsible because she's the chief of police. That's her. That's it. That she runs it. Anybody here ever work in the service industry? Whenever corporate, you work for, like, say, a corporate restaurant, right? Doesn't matter. It could be Olive Garden, could be Cheesecake Factory, could be fucking McDonald's. Doesn't matter. Okay? But what happens is when you submit a complaint online, that goes directly to the area supervisor. The area supervisor gets a hold of this, the one who oversees all of the locations. And in that complaint, if they review a complaint that says the waitress, the waitress, Jody 617 served me my food, and she was rude, and she was mean, and it's disgusting, and I'm pissed off, and I'm never eating there again. Right? Do you think that area supervisor is going to go to Jody 617 directly? They might, but chances are they don't. That's not policy. That's not how it works. They're not going to go to 617. They're not going to go to Jody and go, what happened that day? Blah, 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 with their condescending asses. So you want to tell me what happened that day? That's what they do, right? But they're not going to do that. They're going to go to Melanie Lewis, who is Jody 617's manager. Now, Not even. Because Melanie Lewis might just be just a shift manager. She might have been the person in charge of that shift, right? So that area supervisor is going to go to not the shift manager and not the person who the complaint is about. They're going to go to the general manager. That's who they're going to go. The general manager, the equivalent to the chief of police. They're going to go to the general manager with this issue because the general manager is accountable. The general manager is accountable for all things that take place in that location, period. Someone has to take accountability. The reason for that is so nobody goes, oh, well, talk to them. They are the GM being confronted by the area supervisor is not going to go, if they're good at their job, they're not going to go, oh man, that's them. They didn't. That's their fault. The fuck you expect me to do? They're going to go, you need to manage your people better. Why are your people treating our customers like this? Something's going on with the way that you're managing things. That's what the area supervisor is going to do. The area supervisor is going to hold the general manager accountable for anything that happens in that location because they are accountable. Chief Rafferty is accountable for anything that takes place in her department. Period. Period. She needs to be held accountable. Chief Rafferty needs to be put on the stand, called as a witness when it comes to this issue, in my opinion. In my opinion, Chief Rafferty needs to sit there on that stand and explain to a jury who handed her that thumb drive. And then that person needs to sit on that stand and explain the process in which they extracted that thumb drive and handed it to Chief Rafferty. So Chief Rafferty knows if Chief Rafferty herself handed that thumb drive to Brian Tully of the Massachusetts State Police, then Chief Rafferty is responsible for that thumb drive and its contents and what ended up on there, because one of her subordinates most likely was following orders. That's why Chief Rafferty needs to be put on that stand and asked about that Sallyport footage. Why that didn't happen in the last trial, I don't really know. But I don't think, well, I can answer that. I can theorize on that because they didn't know what the fuck was on the footage. Pre-trial, the last trial, since they failed to share discovery with them, they probably didn't call Chief Rafferty to the stand simply because they didn't know the magnitude of all the bullshit that was happening with the evidence in the Canton Police Department footage. With the Canton Police Department footage, they didn't know. They didn't know who to call. They didn't know. All they were trying to do was get the fucking footage. At that point, all they got was a bunch of finger pointing. And no footage. So, yeah, if you're wondering why Chief Rafferty wasn't called to the stand in the last trial, that's probably why. I would imagine that's probably why. Because they didn't know what they had to work with. Because the evidence wasn't turned over when it was supposed to be turned over.
Whether it is required or not required. Yet, I'm standing here today, and I have to now share with you my conversations with the defense. I have to share with the court my position, which is contrary to the defense, because they have lodged a motion asking for money that they are not entitled to. If I stand back and do nothing and remain the dignity of the court, then what happens is there are claims that just float out in nowhere, and a lie unchecked becomes the truth. So now I must stand before you and I must tell you what happened. When I entered this case in September and I began to look at discovery, I saw a video produced in August from the Canton Police Department, and we immediately turned it over to the defense. I began a study of the case and tried to articulate and account for all evidence and make sure the defense obtained everything that they were entitled to and more. The defense asked me to try to account for the video because they believed it had been an issue in this case. I looked through the docket. There was no motion to preserve videotape.
Okay.
I read the pleadings.
That is a blatant fucking lie.
They believed it had been an issue in this case. I looked through the docket. There was no motion to preserve videotape. I read the pleadings.
Okay. Either you're lying about looking through the docket, or you're lying about no motion being filed. So either you didn't know that there was a motion filed and you're lying about how you came about this information, or you're just fucking lying about the motion being filed. That's it. Like, but we know that the motion was filed because, I mean, it's fucking here, dude. Like, it's right there, dude. It's right there. It's right there. See that date right there? See that? February 2nd. Right there. 2022. Get real up close on that. So this right here is me calling Hank Brennan a fucking liar in writing right here. This is the proof that Hank Brennan is a fucking liar right here. All notes of any law enforcement official, police officer, and/or trooper of any and all witness interviews, including any notes of anything the defendant is alleged to have said. The defendant is specifically requesting this court to order that such notes are not to be destroyed upon the completion of police reports. All notes, any law enforcement official, police officer, and/or state trooper regarding this investigation. The defendant is specifically requesting this court to order that such notes are not to be destroyed upon the completion of police reports. All turret tapes from any local police department in the Massachusetts police regarding this matter from the first time the police were contacted to the arrest of the defendant. There it is, right there, number 3. That's it, right there. All turret tapes. It even specifies, because here they're arguing, well, there was only they just said, it's very general. To preserve the evidence, make sure that all the evidence is preserved, right? But here, it's actually very specific. Now, he said tapes. Nobody uses fucking tape anymore. But all turret tapes, I don't know, from any local police department and the Massachusetts State Police regarding this matter. From the first time the police were contacted, even specifies the time frame. Yannetti even specifies the time frame. From the first time the police were contacted to the arrest of the defendant.
Attorney Yannetti was meticulous in his motions to preserve. It was admirable. It was meticulous, the work he did. There was no motion to preserve, and that has some import. There was no motion to preserve. Attorney Yannetti was meticulous in his. I read the pleadings. Attorney Yannetti was meticulous in his motions to preserve. It was admirable. It was meticulous, the work he did. There was no motion to preserve. And that has.
Okay. Maybe I'm not understanding this. Maybe I'm just simply not understanding this because I really can't believe my fucking ears right now.
It was meticulous videotape. I read the pleadings. Attorney Yannetti was meticulous in his motions to preserve. It was admirable. It was meticulous, the work he did. There was no motion to preserve.
You know what that reminds me of, dude? You remember Chappelle's show when Charlie Murphy's telling true Hollywood stories? And Rick James is being interviewed. He's telling the Rick James story, and Rick James is going, man, how am I going to like go into somebody's house? I'm just going to stomp my muddy feet all over somebody's couch. Come on, man. I got a little more sense than that. Yeah, I remember rubbing my dirty ass feet all over Eddie's couch. Like, that's exactly what he just fucking did in open court. He just fucking did the same thing that Rick James did in that fuck your couch fucking bit on Chappelle's show. Like, he totally just did that. I gotta hear that one more time.
To preserve this case. I looked through the docket. There was no motion to preserve videotape. I read the pleadings. Attorney Yannetti was meticulous in his motions to preserve. It was admirable. It was meticulous, the work he did. There was no motion to preserve. And that has some import. It doesn't relieve the government of their obligation to provide Rule 14 discovery or exculpatory evidence or Brady evidence. It doesn't relieve the Commonwealth of their obligations to be dutiful, but it is difference in kind. Because the defense, if they want something that is not obvious, they put the Commonwealth on notice. Having practiced for almost 3 decades, you file motions to preserve within 24 hours, 48 hours, or 30 days. And so when Mr. Jackson called me, Attorney Jackson called me, and he said he wanted to come out and bring an expert to look at the NVR or DVR of the Canton Police Department, I had never seen that in 30 years. It's not part of our obligations. He's not entitled to come into the Canton Police Department with his own experts and download his request. But in the spirit of transparency and an effort to help the defense so there will be a fair trial and they can obtain all the discovery, understanding the history of this case, seeing that there was an August videotape post-trial, I wanted to do what I could to accommodate them. So without any hesitation, despite that there was no court order.
Wow. Liz, thank you so much for gifting a membership. Appreciate you. Oh my God.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. 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 I think we got a super dad.
How dare you?
Sorry, I was muted, but yeah, thank you for gifting that membership, Liz. Appreciate it. Piney Woods Law and Crime, thank you so much. He's straight up lying, no matter how you slice it. Love your common sense analysis. Lawyers sometimes get lost in the weeds. It's plain as day. Yeah, I mean, I could see how, lawyers will get, a little, they'll get lost. I don't want to say lost, but it'll be, a lot of the legal jargon and the ins and outs of everything here. But this is just fucking, again, this is just common sense. It doesn't take a lawyer to see that this guy is fucking lying. So thank you again, Piney Woods Law and Crime. I appreciate you. And period, full stop. Thank you so much. Should you find yourself in a leaky boat, time is better spent switching vessels instead of patching holes. The Commonwealth is trying to switch vessels. The time for patching holes has passed. No lifeboats left. Good point. Good point. Charlie, member for 3 months. Thank you so much. You can't believe you didn't greet Grant with a "how dare you." Nah, man. I mean, dude, I'm not gonna like meet Grant for the first time and then just like fucking attack him with fucking insults and jokes and shit, you know. I wanted to give Grant a fair shake, and you know, I'm like that with everybody.
No motion to preserve. I invited him to come to the Canton Police Department. I called the chief of police. I asked the chief of police, although this was unique and novel, unprecedented, could the defense come and access their material? Typically, the Commonwealth will download it and provide them a copy. She had no hesitation. And so I called Attorney Jackson back, and I said that we would allow it. Attorney Jackson expressed concern, understandably, being a defense attorney, that almost 3 years later, the video may not be on the NVR. I had the same concern. I want all of the evidence. I'm not looking for evidence that's good for the Commonwealth or helpful for my case. I want all of the evidence. And so after he expressed the concern,
like he's saying that like he's doing some sort of fucking some great deed here. You know, I want all of the evidence. I don't want just what benefits me and the Commonwealth to prove our case. I want all of the evidence. Of course you want all the fucking evidence, dude. How do you fucking determine what you're going to use and what you're not going to use unless you have it all? Why are you sitting here acting like you should be fucking hoisted up on fucking everyone's shoulders like Rudy because you're like, oh, I want all of the evidence. I'm not trying to just cherry pick the evidence that I want. No, yes, you are, motherfucker. Yes, we know you want all of the evidence. But unfortunately, that's not true. You're also lying now because you would be putting just as much pressure on the Canton Police Department to produce that footage, that untampered with footage that had to have existed at some point for it to get tampered with in the first place. You would have had to, you are not pushing the Canton Police Department to share this with you. And that tells me that you're fucking lying even about that. Like you're telling me basically by saying that I'm not looking for this evidence that helps the Commonwealth. Like you're telling me that that's exactly what you're looking for. By pointing that out, that's what you're telling me. That's what I'm getting out of it. That you are cherry picking evidence that's going to just help your case. And if it's chopped up, so be it. Because he's also trying to separate himself. It's very interesting what he's doing here. He's trying to separate himself from all of the fuckery that's been taking place in this case in the last 3 years. He's trying to spin this whole narrative. He's trying to play his dirty little fucking hanky spanky tricks with his words, trying to paint a picture here. Well, whatever the Commonwealth did before I got here, it's not my problem. I didn't do anything. I'm trying to help Alan Jackson. He asked me for something, and I just wanted to be helpful. I wanted to help as much as I possibly could. No, you didn't. No, you didn't, dude. No, you didn't. Michelle, thank you so much for the Venmo. I appreciate you. Massachusetts loves you. Thank you. Free Karen Reed. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, like this dude is so trying to like separate himself. I don't know what these guys were doing. That's basically what he's doing right now. I don't know what these guys were doing before. I was just trying to be as helpful to Karen Reed's defense team as accommodating as I can be. I'm trying to be a nice guy. I'm just trying to be a nice guy. I'm not trying to do anything. Yeah, whatever the cuck sitting up there did in the last trial, that wasn't me. That's why he's sitting there on timeout. That's why he's sitting there second chair and not saying a word, because I don't approve of his methods and what he did in the first trial. So I'm here and things are different now. And I have done everything that I possibly could to accommodate Karen Reed's defense team. Bullshit. No, you didn't. Sorry, dude. Sorry, dude. You're in this. You're in this. You're the bad guy. You're the face of this shit now. So deal with it. Hate Corruption, member for 3 months. Thank you so much. What about getting lie detectors? I love you, Will. Love you too, Hate Corruption. Thank you.
No idea what, if anything, was on the NVR. We could go and look at it, but Mr. Attorney Jackson didn't want that. We wanted his expert to be the person to open the NVR. And respecting his position, providing a professional courtesy.
Providing a professional courtesy. Yeah, motherfucker, because the fucking Sallyport video is inverted, dude. It's tampered with. What other way is there other than to get your own expert to at least inspect the extraction of information from the original source, from the original device that collected the information in the first place? And he's acting like Mr. Jackson's requests are so unreasonable, but I still accommodated him. I still, as a professional courtesy, provided the evidence, or agreed to provide the evidence in which I'm already obligated to do so. From which I'm already obliged to do so, then, you know, I went ahead and I extended a professional courtesy to do my fucking job. What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
See, I agreed. Didn't mislead him. I didn't think there would be video. I had no idea. So Mr. Jackson, Attorney Jackson, pardon me, sent out his expert. And by the way, the expert that came was not the expert they designated. I got a call because we were in court on a hearing that they had sent a different expert they hadn't noticed. And my response was, it doesn't matter. Whoever they send, let them look at it. And so when they did, not surprisingly, the information had been overwritten. Now, while there was a 30-day override on that machine, I believe the defense expert knows that there was a backup hard drive which kept materials longer than that 30 days. I do know that there was materials on that DVR, NVR back in July of 2024. And I know that from a report that was generated by the Commonwealth and given to the defense. So they should know that as well. That may be one reason why they wanted to come out. They came out on their own volition. I extended the courtesy as much as I could, made no promises. I was clear, I was very uncertain about what would be on there since I never looked at it. After I learned there was no information on the NVR, I took the initiative and went to the police department. I viewed the police department, the cameras, I spoke to personnel, and I spoke to the retired individual who then was responsible for providing video upon request. And when I spoke to him, he told me in conversation that he would routinely store a copy on a file he noted as a detective file or on his hard drive. That was news to me. I thought that was helpful, so I notified the defense about my conversation. I was not trying to lure them back to Canton or have them spend money. I was trying to, as I always do, be as transparent as I could and as helpful as I could.
See, it's interesting. It's interesting because he's defending himself against the accusation that he's trying to get Karen to spend money. Yet Alan Jackson never accused him of trying to get her to spend money. He didn't do that. Maybe he did in the motion, and I'm missing that. I forgot. But when he just spoke up there, at no point did he go, well, they're just trying to bleed my client dry. He didn't do that. But yet he feels the need to defend himself for it. I think that's interesting. Like, why are you defending yourself against something that you were never accused of? Not officially, anyway. I'm accusing you of it. Everyone in my chat's accusing you of it. But yeah, like, why is it even something that you're defending yourself up against? Makes no sense. Totally a Freudian slip. Totally a Freudian slip, in my opinion.
Now, what I simply should have done and could have done is I could have gone to that detective file and downloaded the video and given a copy to the defense. That's my obligation, no more. But I didn't. I extended the courtesy that if they wanted to...
Wrong. No. Your obligation is to provide the evidence. The Canton Police Department's obligation was to preserve the evidence. Adam Lally's obligation back then was to make sure that the Canton Police Department preserved that evidence. And you're sitting here going, well, my obligation is just to hand him a copy of... No, dude, not if that copy is altered with. Not if it's been fucked with, in other words. So if that evidence has indications of being fucked with, then you are, yes, obligated to make sure that you provide evidence that isn't fucked with. And that can only come from the original NVR. That's it. If you can't provide that, that evidence is no good. That evidence is exculpatory. Period. That is defense evidence now, not Commonwealth evidence. Because it helps exonerate Karen Reed. It shows that you had no interest in preserving, or the Canton PD had no interest in preserving evidence. The Commonwealth had no interest in preserving evidence. And so why are we here? Why are we here? 3 years later.
Come and look at that file before we opened it, so it could be beyond reproach. They were invited to do that. I wasn't encouraging or luring them. I was inviting them because they had already been part of the process. I thought it would be disingenuous not to let them participate. And what they told me is to wait. So now that information, whatever it is, I don't know because I haven't seen it. And I've asked the detective or the retired detective not to access it. It is sitting in that file, supposedly. So at this point, it's the Commonwealth's position that we are going to go and download that information to give a copy to the defense. The defense waited almost 3 years. The defense was very clear about my uncertainty would be on that tape. And now they stand before the court and they try to parlay this into some type of injustice for their cause. The case they cite, Commonwealth versus Frith, the district court was overruled in assessing costs because there was no egregious violation. This is not a Brady case. This is not a setup.
It's clearly a Brady
This
case.
is the
What the
government
fuck are
providing
you talking
information
about, dude?
As the case progresses and evolves and changes and retakes. What we have now is information.
Oh my God, I don't care!
On a database that we are going to get and give to the defense. You should deny their motion. Nobody was misled in this case. They've taken a professional courtesy in an effort to help, and they've distorted it into some type of injustice. The Commonwealth's not going to be distracted from the cause in this case, which is a trial on April 1st. The court should not be distracted from the cause in this case. If they have a separate motion about Rule 14 violations or motion dismissed for misconduct, that's a separate motion. That's not the motion.
Oh, shut up, dude. Look, okay. Now, some of you might think that I'm just overthinking this, okay? But let me make this point here real quick. Some of you might think some of you guys come to the conclusion when you're listening to Spanky hashtag here talk about, me. I tried to do this and I did this and I did that. As just him being narcissistic, being me, playing victim, blah, blah, blah. In a way, you're right. But see, I believe that there's more to it than that. It's just me. It's just my personal opinion. But I am personally of the opinion, maybe I'm just paranoid, but I am, and I wouldn't even say paranoid, but I'm of the opinion that there is a reason for this that's a little bit more there's a more concentrated reason than him just having this in his personality of making things about him. I think there's more to it. I wonder, because remember I said I think that the feds have not closed this investigation. I don't see how they have ever closed this investigation into Michael Morrissey and the Norfolk County DA's office. And he's now the face. When it comes to this case, he's the face of the Norfolk County DA's office. So I'm wondering if he's doing this because he knows everything is going on record. He knows that anything that's said here in court is going to be used in whatever case the feds have. Most of the feds' evidence, if they're going to, I would assume so. Again, I'm just speculating here. But I would assume that if the feds are trying to catch everyone doing dirt here, anyone whose hands are dirty in railroading Karen Reed in this case, right? The most evidence that they're going to collect is coming from these trials and these hearings. Everything's on record. These are official court hearings. So every testimony that happened in the last trial will be used if they're going to indict any of the McAlberts or any of the civil servants who have been who have taken part in this case in whatever role that they had. There's going to be a lot of evidence. And it's going to come from, most of this evidence, I think, is going to come from their mouths, what they say under oath, what they present, and what is put on record. And if dude here is worried about that, then he's thinking about the record. And he's thinking about what's going to go on the record. And if he's looking at what's going to go on the record, and he's thinking those many steps ahead, he's going, See the fucking dude with horrible posture, bad hair gel, that's sitting in the front there, quiet, facing down? I'm here to clean up his mess, but it's his mess, not mine. That's what I think he's doing here. His mess, not mine. While trying to argue against these motions of whatever. He knows what Bev's going to do. Why do you think he put up such a shitty fucking argument? He knows Bev's going to deny that motion. This guy put up the worst fucking argument to oppose that motion from Karen Reed's defense. And sorry, got distracted there. How was Lally today? Dude, let me tell you something. That dude is the most unimpressive person I've ever seen in person. Unimpressive person. Like, just, he had a little pep in his step today. I noticed that. He seemed to have a little pep in his step. But most of the time, I mean, I look at the guy and I'm just like, Jesus, man. Like, you must drink heavily. Like, fucking heavily, bro. You know, like, straight up. Like that dude has got a bottle of kicking chicken always on hand. Probably in his desk, like an old school fucking lawyer from back in fucking 1970. Talking about I have the appropriate remedy right here. Would you like some? Except, you know, it's kicking chicken. Wild turkey for those of you who don't speak bartender. But yeah, instead of Diet Mountain Dew. Like, yeah. But I don't think that's the case. I think in Lally's case, it's at home. Tries to hide it from his wife. Goes in the garage. He's not fooling his wife because there's nothing in the garage for him to do because he doesn't fix anything. So he's got to, there's only one thing he could be doing in the garage. Only one thing. Only one thing.
Before the court today. The motion before the court today is to attempt to recover costs for something they chose to do and that I accommodated. It should be rejected. Thank you.
Something they chose to do. You put them in a position, the Commonwealth put them in a position to where there was nothing else to do. You refuse to give the guy the evidence that he's been that they've been asking for 3 fucking years. And so in order to finally get this shit, they've come, like, in order to ensure that it's not going to be tampered with, they're like, okay, well, we got to go to the original source. If you hadn't fucking turned in, if the Commonwealth hadn't turned in tampered with fucking evidence, then they wouldn't need to do that. They wouldn't feel the need to do that. Yes, they chose. That was their strategy. But the Commonwealth forced them into that position. Had they handed them a thumb drive or a disc or what the fuck ever that wasn't inverted and that didn't have timepieces skipping and didn't have, most importantly, time missing, and if it's motion detected, if it's motion activated, these cameras, then explain why 45 minutes of Karen Reed's vehicle arriving at the Sally Port and getting into the Sally Port is missing. A moving Lexus doesn't activate motions on a camera? Are you fucking kidding? Shady fucking dirty cops walking around doesn't activate a motion activated camera? Where are those 45 minutes? It's incredible, dude. The Commonwealth should not have to pay for something that the defense chose to do. Shut the fuck up, dude. Like, they chose to do this. They were it's not the Commonwealth's fault that the defense didn't accept the tampered with and chopped up evidence that we provided them with. It's not the Commonwealth's fault that the defense does not accept tainted evidence. That's not, why should the Commonwealth have to pay for that? Because it's tainted evidence, bro. Commonwealth is obligated to provide evidence, not tampered with evidence, not fucked with evidence, not chopped up evidence, not inverted evidence, just the evidence.
Any quick response, Mr. Jackson?
Very briefly, with the court's permission.
Sure.
By the way, it is a Brady case. There's no question that the data on those videos are Brady. They're exculpatory. That's where we start. So Mr. Brennan can say all day long, that's not a Brady case. Don't worry about it. Let's just sweep this under the carpet like we've done everything else. It's there's nothing to see here. That's not true. It's a Brady case because the information that we have now received from that DVR, that NVR system, is exculpatory to Miss Reed.
Right.
That's why I cited
Brian Higgins part.
That's why I cited the Brian Higgins part. Correct. And I suspect there's a lot more on there as well. The inverted video part is also Brady, which we got in the middle of trial.
Yeah, it's Brady. This whole fucking the Commonwealth's whole case is a Brady violation, bro.
His argument is, deny the motion because they took a courtesy. I'm trying to be courteous. And he's a gentleman. This is not personal to Mr. Brennan. He seems to, the tone of his responses was, well, this is personal between Mr. Jackson and Mr. Brennan. It's not personal at all. It's
right.
about the defense and the Commonwealth. It's about Miss Reed and the Commonwealth. But let's not conflate a courtesy with an obligation.
There you go.
The Commonwealth has an obligation. I don't care that Mr. Brennan wasn't on the case previously for the last 2.5, 3 years. It doesn't matter to me. This is not personal to him. I appreciate the fact that when he came onto the case, he immediately found in August, he found a video that had never been turned over. I can't fault him for that. He turned it over when he found it, apparently. What I can fault is the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Mr. Brennan was brought onto this case not to represent Mr. Brennan, but to represent the Commonwealth.
There you go.
All the foibles, all the warts and blemishes that preceded him, unfortunately, are now his responsibility.
That's it.
As lead counsel for the Commonwealth.
That's it.
He indicates that when he found out that we wanted to come look at the DVR, and we had absolutely no right to look at that DVR, this was just a courtesy, etc. Well, that might be true if we hadn't made the request, because we had been getting piecemeal videos from a DVR system that it supposedly was overwritten.
So the oral request by phone call you're talking about?
The latest one. Right. So my request to come out and have an expert come out and see it. That's not just a courtesy. That's just good lawyering on his part and mine. You want to keep your hands clean, let's do it the transparent way. Have everybody come, bring their experts, whoever they might be, and let's download this stuff together. So there's no business, and everybody can wipe their hands and say, I didn't have anything to do with it except downloading the material, and whatever that material is, it is. That's just good lawyering. It's not a courtesy. He was doing that to protect his own and the Commonwealth's interests, and it was quite smart until he realized, because he didn't have any way of knowing it any more than I did, that there was no footage. It had been overwritten.
Right.
Perhaps, certainly the defense was deceived. Perhaps Mr. Brennan was deceived as well. He indicates that he contacted Chief Rafferty, and she said, with no hesitation, yeah, bring him on out here. I wonder if that lack of hesitation had anything to do with the fact that the chief knew that there was no data on the DVR. You can come look all you want to. The bucket's empty.
Right.
I have no idea about this iCloud account or who owns the iCloud account.
Right.
Why this?
You know what the irony of all this is, folks? You know what the irony of all this is? This hearing in particular is incredibly ironic. And the reason why this hearing is incredibly ironic is because this hearing that is focused on arguing Karen Reed being reimbursed for $12,000 that was wasted because of the Commonwealth wasting her time and misleading her defense team. This hearing is it revolves around that. The focus is her being reimbursed for the Commonwealth wasting her time and money, right? Motion gets denied. How much money do you think this hearing, in order to argue getting that $12,000 back, how much do you think that cost Karen Reed? How much do you think just this hearing alone, how much do you think that put Karen Reed more in the hole? Imagine that shit. That's insane. I don't have a number. I'm not asking you guys, and then I'm going to provide you with an answer. I don't fucking know. I know it's got to be in the thousands. I know it's probably going to exceed 12 because we're talking about Alan Jackson's time. We're talking about David Yanetti's time. I mean, Eliza Little's time, dude, like, how ironic is that? How ironic is that this is costing Karen so much money just to argue that she should be reimbursed for $12,000. And then it gets denied. Incredible. But no, they're not trying to milk Karen Reed dry. No.
On the DVR to the iCloud account, Mr. Brennan did say, do you want to have your expert come back out and watch as we download the iCloud account? And I said, let's defer that because this is literally, these are the contours of motion that's going to be before the court. And I still want to defer it because what I didn't want to do is pay another $12,000 or $15,000 for a second bite at this apple just to find out that iCloud account is somehow compromised as well.
Can you have someone record it? Can you have somebody that it won't cost you $12,000 if you want to come out and just have someone record it as it's being done?
Sure, I didn't mean to interrupt the court. Yes, I can certainly make accommodations other than flying an expert out and having somebody do it in person. That may be an option that we exercise. I may talk to Mr. Brennan about that because I still want to have some.
If I'm Karen right now, I got to be honest. As much as I love Alan Jackson, if I'm Karen right now, I'm like, well, why the fuck did we do that in the first place? You know what I mean? Because, I mean, now the easy answer to that is it's very simple. Like, well, there's no better way to ensure that no funny business is taking place than to have our expert personally be out there to extract the information from the DVR. So, you know, I mean, that's the easy answer. But if I'm Karen Reed, I'm going, well, fuck. You mean I didn't have to be $12,000 in the hole before?
Transparency on that process. But what I don't want is to throw good money after bad at this issue when she's already spent $12,000, $12,200 and something dollars for absolutely nothing. This is not a matter of courtesy. This is a matter of obligation. This was a matter of Brady. It's no different. And by the way, the case that Mr. Brennan cites, he indicated that I cited that case. I didn't cite that case. Justice Gaziano cited that case in his opinion in the committee case. And the ultimate opinion of that court was when there is a discovery violation, when there is a Brady violation, and there is no question that that's what's before this court.
Right.
Blatant discovery and Brady violations. The Commonwealth doesn't, the court may remember, by the way, on the witness stand when these videos were coming in piecemeal, especially the inverted video, 2 or 3 witnesses all went like this. I wasn't the one told it. I wasn't the one that downloaded it. You can't.
Right.
I wasn't the one that downloaded. I don't know where it came from. It just ended up on my desk on a flash drive. I don't know where it came from. Everybody was pointing fingers at everybody else. Nobody could establish a single chain of custody for those videos, and we still don't have.
Not one chain of custody could be established. Not one aspect of chain of custody could have been established for that Sallyport footage. Explain that shit. How for some reason Judge Beverly Cannoni thinks that's just business as usual. There's no logs, there's nothing. That nobody can take, nobody is being held, nobody is taking accountability, and nobody is being held accountable for how that Sally Port footage ended up in the hands of Adam Lally. Yeah, no chain of custody for anything, but this is just a drop in the bucket. The Sally Port footage is just a drop in the bucket. There's no chain of custody in anything. As I said earlier, this whole fucking case is a Brady violation. The whole fucking case. It's insane.
So Chief Rafferty's statement, yeah, come on out. No hesitation whatsoever. They can come look at it. I suspect it's because she knew it wasn't there.
Right.
This was we were led in a circular runaround.
Yeah. The same police department that just charged one of their own, and he had to go to court today simply because he's calling them out on not doing their jobs properly. A guy who's like, this is my, Peter Murphy, Canton PD, years and years and years of service, and this shit is happening. It makes him look bad. He's pissed. He's pissed. So he's speaking up, speaking his mind. He's expressing his discontent with the methods being applied by the very police department that he was proud to serve for so many years. And so because of that, they throw these bullshit charges on him. And so we're supposed to be surprised or think that it's far-fetched that Chief Rafferty would deliberately go, yeah, have the expert come on down here. Sure. Knowing that that expert was going to be wasting their time. I'm supposed to think that Chief Rafferty is professional. Get the fuck out of my face. Dude, I got no love for the Canton PD, bro. I got no love for the Canton PD. Now, I don't think of them like, the way that Morpheus explained what agents were in the first Matrix. Like all of them are bad. I don't think of them like that. I'm sure there's good cops on the Canton Police Department. I'm sure there's plenty. But those in charge at the Canton Police Department have a serious ethical problem. They have a serious problem with ethics. Like, it's an issue, to say the least. That ethics are definitely a serious problem inside the Canton Police Department and the higher-ups in the Canton Police Department. Namely, Chief Rafferty.
And it was ultimately at her cost. And that's what's
So didn't the two of you, when you talk about good lawyering, didn't both of you agree that it was highly unlikely it would still be there? Or are you saying that part's not true? Mr. Brennan told me that.
I said, I'm concerned if we don't get out there.
Peter
fast,
Murphy is
I don't
charged
know
with
what the
trespassing, I
protocol
believe.
might be. So yes, I was concerned, but who cares? Well, that's no legal moment. What I thought and what Mr. Brennan and I discussed 3 years after the fact, when the Commonwealth has a self-executing obligation to provide that information to us because it's Brady. They also had an obligation pursuant to Mr. Yannetti's demand, not request, but demand to maintain that information.
So where is that demand? Is that in the filed? Where is that demand?
February 2nd. I don't know what the docket number is. It was filed on February 2nd after arraignment.
Here?
Wherever the arraignment was, Mr. United.
It was in the Stoughton District Court.
But it's part of the case file. And it stays with the Commonwealth, and that obligation stays with the Commonwealth. But I would propose to the court that even if the court's concern is, well, when was that filed, and did Mr. Brennan
No,
actually...
I haven't seen it. I know it's not part of our file, and you're talking about it as if it were here.
Your Honor, I can't say with certainty, but I believe that it.
That's the point where I was like, I want to just like stand up and be like, I have it right fucking here. I have it right here. Like, that was the point where I was just like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Where is the filing, the preservation of evidence? Like, it's a moot point. Why are you even asking for that, Judge Bev? Why are you asking for a preservation of evidence when it's already the obligation of the Commonwealth to preserve the evidence? Why aren't you asking the right questions? Why did David Yannetti feel the need so early on to file a motion ordering the preservation of evidence from the Canton PD? Explain that shit. Why aren't you asking those questions? Where is the preservation of evidence? No, what you should be doing is going, why was there a preservation of evidence even filed in the first place? It's the prosecution's obligation to provide that in the first place, to preserve and provide it in the interest of justice. Why isn't she saying that?
It may have been submitted as an exhibit to a previous motion, probably early on in this case.
Okay, I just wanted our record to be clear.
Of
You're
course.
talking about Mr. Yannetti filed this. You did not file it in this court
I may have filed it as
as an
exhibit,
attachment, but it was
but
never
not-
any.
Right. There was, I don't mean to cut off the
No,
court,
no,
Judge.
there was, it was never brought before me or a judge who had this case before me to be heard.
So there was early on, and so many motions have been filed in this
Right.
case, but early on, I did bring a motion, I believe before Your Honor, asking that all of the Stoughton District Court motions that I had filed at arraignment and thereafter be ratified by this court.
Okay.
That is in our record.
So I need you to find that
Happy to do it.
and tell us when it was filed, the act. I need to see that.
By the end of the day today, you will have whatever submissions we provided, and if it's not part of an exhibit, you will have that motion.
All right. Go ahead,
Just
Mr. Chair.
to answer that one question that I can't answer because I've seen the filing. It was filed February 2nd, 2022, court stamped. My point is, even if that weren't the case, and it is the case, the obligation is self-executing. That's what Justice Gaziano is talking about when he talks about in the committee case, the self-executing duty that a prosecution has or a prosecutor has to maintain and preserve exculpatory information and provide that information to the defense. They didn't do that. And they led us to believe every single sign and signal, irrespective of what Mr. Brennan did or didn't actually personally know. The Commonwealth's conduct in this case, from the beginning of the investigation to now, suggested that that information existed, the DVR existed, the video footage on the DVR existed, and we were going out there to know. We shouldn't have had to jump through this hoop and go on this wild goose chase at Miss Reed's expense.
Right. Obviously, the purpose was to get original, to establish once and for all that the Sally Port video was or was not tampered with. That's the only surefire way to do that is to obtain the original footage, to extract the original footage from the original source, from the original device. That is the only way to ensure this, to come to this conclusion. So Like, this isn't. God, I can't even. This is the craziest thing in the world, dude.
It is not. I think we can all in this courtroom agree. None of this is our fault. We didn't do any of this. It's all on the Commonwealth's shoulders. It's all their responsibility. They should have to pay for what happened when we went out there for absolutely no good reason. And I'll send that.
Yeah, that's what sucks is like it makes Judge Bev that much more mad when Alan Jackson. She hates Alan Jackson. I can just tell. She fucking hates Alan Jackson. And so I am sure that it must be really difficult for Alan Jackson to litigate this case in front of Judge Beverly Cannoni because she hates him already. So he he has to be the way that he is. He has to be somewhat aggressive. He has to state the facts the way that they are. Like, this is a Brady violation. This is absolutely a Brady violation. And this is absolutely in no way our fault. Our client has the right to discovery, untampered with discovery. She has a right to this in order to effectively defend herself. And he has to talk to her like she's fucking retarded. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy because this stuff is common sense. The stuff that they have to argue in front of this judge is stuff that would never have to be argued in front of almost any other judge. Like, every other trial that I've ever covered, I've never seen. Like, there's no way that dude, the judge in the fucking Sarah Boone trial, do you really think, oh, my Venmo, if you can't scan it on the screen, it's just the glare. Yeah, I mean, I have it all scrolling right here, so you're just gonna have to kind of type it in. It's the glare. The Cash App is the glare 360. You know, so yeah, if you can't scan it, then you know. But the link at the top of the chat for Karen Reed's defense works. I know that.
Mr. Brennan, I have just a couple of questions.
Yeah.
So you don't know for certain whether this information was in fact downloaded onto the hard drive, but you suspect it is based on your conversation with the named gentleman in your affidavit?
So there's two different systems. One's called the DVR NVR. That's the actual system that keeps all the footage that's recorded.
That
has been
that
searched.
commonly is overridden every
Yes.
30 days, like
Has been overwritten.
statewide police departments.
Yes, Your Honor. And
Okay.
that has been overwritten.
Okay.
And there is no information on that.
Okay.
When I spoke to the retired sergeant detective who had downloaded video, he said as a habit, he would routinely, when he would make a video copy from the DVR, he would place it in a separate file. I can't say that it's exhaustive. I can't say that it captures all of the video. It's when he would make a copy. And it seems in this case, there were select copies made. It doesn't seem that there was ever a time when somebody just copied the entire event. Now, the issue of whether there was a request for it, the obligation of the Commonwealth, I think is a separate issue. What exists on his hard drive?
Now,
the
see,
detective
that's
file, I don't know.
interesting right there. Listen to what he says here.
It doesn't seem that there was ever a time when somebody just copied the entire event. Now, the issue of whether there was a request for it, the obligation of the Commonwealth, I think is a separate issue.
Okay, now remember I was talking about like the entire copy had to have been made. The only other alternative to that, because if you're going to chop up the video, well, then you had to have extracted the entire the entire the footage from the Sally Port that night in its entirety in order to chop it up. Or they chopped it up straight from the DVR system, right? Oh, thank you, Elizabeth, for the Venmo. I appreciate it. Yahoo! I finally did it. Oh, Liz. Okay, cool. Right on. Thank you, Liz. Now, I'm going to read that in just a second, but I don't want to lose my train of thought here. I might have already done that. Okay, so there are the other alternative to extracting the entire amount of footage and then chopping it up is that they chopped it up and then somehow attached another extraction device, but they chopped it up from the DVR directly. That's the only way. But he's admitting it. This is what he's doing. He's saying that I believe that bits and pieces were extracted from the DVR. That right there means that the footage is no good. Right there, he's admitting, right there, he's showing, because hopefully the defense brings this up in trial, Hank Brennan admitting himself that the footage was tampered with. Admitting himself that it was extracted in bits and pieces. Is that the way that should be done? Is that how that's supposed to be done? So these things, let's recap real quick. So bits and pieces are extracted from the DVR. Bits and pieces, according to Hank Brennan. And they turn out to have pieces missing, and then somehow they must have been mashed up and edited together. So, because here he is saying that they were extracted in pieces. So if I'm the defense, I'm going to go, so what did they do? Mash them all together in one video? Is that what happened? Because that's shady as fuck. Is that what happened? Did they mash them all together in one video? If they extracted it in pieces, then what is this product that we're seeing in trial, in the last trial? We're seeing a chopped up video, are we not? Bits and pieces that were slapped together onto one video and presented as evidence in the last trial. Yes or no? No, I think the whole shit getting deleted after 30 days is bullshit too. I don't buy that shit for a second. I'm saying if that's the case, then what Hank Brennan is saying here basically is he's admitting that the footage isn't reliable. Simple. He's simply admitting that the footage is not reliable, just not in so many words. It says, well, I worked for 2 different sheriff's departments in Wisconsin. Where are the policies and the logs? The defense needs to demand these policies and logs. If they don't have any, they are full of shit. Agreed. I would love for the defense to subpoena the Canton Police Department for their policies. The problem is that if that happens, they're going to type up some policy and send it to them. Like, what kind of idiot would expect anything else from Chief Helena Rafferty? That's what would happen. You know what I mean? Like, you got to think of it from that point of view there, Who was it that left that? Oh well, okay, I lost it. But yeah, like, why are there no logs? It's already been established that there's no logs. That's shady. Is there a policy that they keep a log? What are the policies? What are the protocols, the written standard protocols for the DVR system at the Canton PD? Because again, what all of this stuff in terms of whether or not this helps or hurts Karen Reed, in terms of that, well then, this is the Commonwealth failing to provide evidence. This is easy. The defense can argue this in front of a jury easily. The defense can just go, okay, well, they never provided us with the evidence that we were asking for. Simple, right? The issue here is whether or not Karen Reed should be reimbursed for the $12,000 for her expert to be flown out there, put up in a hotel, fed, and I mean, that's the issue. But when it comes to trial, this is all in Karen Reed's favor. Like, let's not forget that. At the end of the day, that's what this is. This is all in Karen Reed's favor.
What exists on his hard drive in the detective file, I don't know. But what he has told me is he would routinely make copies of what he would provide to the court and the Commonwealth, or the Commonwealth and defense, and he would put on that separate file. I don't. Commonwealth routinely make copies of what he would provide. I don't know. What he has told me is he would routinely.
Look at my face, bro. Look at my face watching this guy. Like, I'm sitting here going, is this guy fucking for real? Is this guy fucking serious right now? Unreal, dude. All right, I'm gonna move because I'm not trying to do this all night. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna share. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Sorry, guys. Give me just 1 second. Okay, what the hello? Okay, there we go. All right. Let me go ahead and go over this. All right. So says here the decision and order on defense motion to recover expert related expenses from the Commonwealth. So this is Judge Beverly Cannoni's ruling on what we were just listening to. She says, after hearing the review of the pleadings, the court credits the affidavit of Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan, paragraph 6. Attorney Jackson expressed concern that the materials may no longer exist on the NVR given the time that had passed since the event. I agreed with him and told him that I had no knowledge whether the material still existed or were overwritten given the passage of time. In light of the averment of ADA Brennan and in light of Attorney Jackson's acknowledgement during the hearing that he and ADA Brennan discussed his concerns regarding the likelihood of the video still existing, the motion to recover costs is denied. Further, through Attorney Jackson argued for sanctions for alleged violation. There is nothing in the written pleading raising the argument, and the issue is therefore not currently before the court. So she's talking about Massachusetts criminal Rule 14. So she's saying, she's agreeing with Brennan saying that's a separate issue. So the defendant's motion to recover expert-related expenses is hereby denied. Beverly Cannoni, February 6, 2025, blah, 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 blah. So she's saying Alan Jackson totally acknowledged that he feared that he acknowledged the possibility that the shit may not be there. And Hank Brennan acknowledged the possibility that they may not be there. Although that is somewhat valid, although that argument is somewhat valid, it is semantics. It's bullshit in that sense. It's bullshit and semantics. Because in the grand scheme of things, we know that they tampered with evidence. We know that the Commonwealth did not preserve the evidence as ordered on February 2nd, 2022. That's the overall issue here. But here she's going, well, you said basically that you were scared that it wouldn't exist. I mean, there's always going to be an argument. You know what I mean? Like that to me is like that, like what Judge Beverly Cannoni did there is like some plebeian shit. Some plebeian shit. Just come up with some fucking argument that sounds nice just to argue, just to justify your bullshit. Because if we're going by just what's right and wrong here, Karen Reed should absolutely be reimbursed by the Commonwealth. They were absolutely misled. A whole lot of runaround as to what's going on with that footage. Was it tampered with? Who had it? Who was in charge of it? What the fuck? The only way is to find out what happened in the DVR, right? So technically, Judge Beverly Cannoni is right. If there's a fear already and if the risk, that basically establishes that there was a known risk that footage may not be there. That's what she's establishing there. So hopefully they just dismiss it. Oh, there's Sleuthy Goosey. What's up, Sleuthy Goosey? Unreal, dude. Unfucking real, bro. And then let's go over this real quick. No, not that. Hold on. Now we're just going to ease things up a little bit. But why can't I pull that up? Like I already... That's really weird that I can't find that video that I uploaded. That's strange. Okay. Oh, that's because I looked in the wrong spot. All right. Here we go.
Said on the bottom, and I couldn't see.
Yeah,
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm live. Say hi.
Hi,
What's your name?
Cheryl Debbie Cheech.
Cheech.
What's that? Cheech Savioli.
Cheech.
Cheryl, Debbie, Bobby.
Nobody's even watching yet.
That's all right.
There's Scott McGinnis, my man right there.
Melanie Little, it's Cheech. Get back out here. Free Karen Reed. Free Karen Reed. Free Turtle Boy.
Yeah, we got lots of support here.
You can see the snow coming down out there, man. Like that's wild, dude. Like these people stand out there no matter what. Like you'd have to drag some of those people away. That's how strongly they believe in Karen Reed's innocence and how she's being wronged.
People come out here to support Karen Reed, whether it's snow, rain, it don't matter. Who? Oh, okay. And there, we've got the O'Keefe's entering the courthouse now.
With a Boston police officer, I don't understand how he's on payroll right here.
Yeah.
He's a Boston police officer, walks them in all the time.
I didn't capture Carl Dougal getting there. Like when he walks up into the courthouse, dude, like those Karen Reed supporters are fucking brutal, bro. They were holding back too. Like they didn't even boo. They just, a couple of people were just like, you fucking hip check anybody today, you piece of shit. They're like, yeah, look at you piece of shit. Get the fuck out of here. That was so funny. Like, no love for that guy. No love.
I don't get it.
Wow.
Yeah, weird, right?
Okay.
You have the O'Keefes walking into the courtroom, everybody minding their own fucking business. Nobody booed them. Nobody said shit to them.
We're in a different county.
It's always hard to predict where Karen's entourage is going to pull up.
Yeah, I'm live right now. Let's see who's in here right now. Letter Rose by Bettero. Bill Hosey, Morrissey's iCloud.
Hi, Cynthia. Oh, that's Cynthia and Paul Lynch.
I love the handles, man.
Cynthia Lynch is fabulous.
Yep, we love them.
Oh, DW. No super chat song though.
Yeah.
Can't do it while I'm streaming live from my phone here, but
Yeah.
thank you.
I don't know. Maybe I could if I streamed from StreamYard, but I just went straight from YouTube.
So much.
Remember, we took heat for that over the summer, please.
Oh God, yeah.
It's still on
I still
on
say it
Twitter.
was. I still say it was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Fuck them.
I don't. You guys.
Fuck them all.
They inspired me to lose the weight. So thank you, fucking trolls. No shit.
Dina.
I turned something bad into something good.
Yes, exactly.
We love Will. Boston loves Will.
And Will loves Boston.
And I love Will too. In a non-restraining order kind of way.
That is bullshit.
Yeah, so the Reeds are here. Well, Bill and Janet are here, and Kelly's here. Still waiting on Karen to get here. I got here with Aiden, Turtle Boy, and here comes Nathan. And hold on. and I got to finally meet Grant. Hey, what's up, fellas? You're live right now. It's good to see you, buddy. There we go. Nathan Reed right there, folks. Meatball Morris, he's Sketty Stain. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And this is Brian Hale right here taking my picture. I'm taking your picture, Brian Hale. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, this is my man right here, dude. This is my homie, Brian Hale.
Hey.
He's the one who takes all the nice looking pictures.
Yeah, that dude is so awesome.
And then,
Neck tattoo.
oh yeah,
Nice. That's old
cool,
school.
right? Yeah. I like the old American traditional stuff, you know. Damn, I was gonna talk to Grant, but he walked away. Oh well. Look at this beautiful sign here. Oh man, I didn't bring one. Yeah. Careful. I don't know. We should be outraged.
Thank you, Marianne.
Free Karen Reed.
Eileen makes
That is fucking right. We should all be outraged. Every single person who is aware of this case should be fucking outraged.
Absolutely.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Marilyn.
Marilyn. Thanks for being out here.
Marilyn's that last name.
No.
Been out at our cave. It really is.
I get it. Yeah.
Let's see. Angie just Venmo'd me. Thank you so much. Will, if you're here all weekend, that kitchen looks great to cook a meal in. I'd love to cook a meal for you. I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, probably not. Thanks.
I believe you.
I share that only because of that reason.
Right on.
Marilyn's been out with us all the time.
Justice for Officer against once Karen Reed is free. That is absolutely right. I'm going to get your sign, but I don't want to get you on camera because I don't like to get children on my live streams here. But free Karen Reed, Justice for Officer. How old are you? What's your first name only? Harper. Nice to meet you, Harper.
No, he's not.
Nice kicks, Will.
Good morning, Patty Evans. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, he's right across the street.
Woo! There we go.
And there's you coming in.
How we doing, Alan?
Good. How are you, bud?
Doing well, man.
So, David? You go. You gotta get in.
Yeah, I gotta go in there. All right, guys. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Bye, Will.
Bye.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
How dare you?
So let's watch this real quick. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Lally's Blankets Blank Store. Lally's Blank Stare. Thank you so much. Love your energy. You always make me laugh. Awesome. Thank you so much. I feed off of your all's energy, so that's great. Thank you. All right.
I want you to put
So I watched this for a little while, and I'm like the worst YouTuber fucking ever. So I'm like, I should probably like film this. Eventually, I get to that point. So this is after I decided to finally film it. Obviously,
different. Yeah, why did the Dayton police say different, Grant? He can't answer tough questions. He carries water for Michael Morrissey. He's Michael Morrissey. Tommy, we could bury something.
and oh my God, Meredith sent me a Venmo. Not that Meredith. Another Meredith. Welcome back to Boston. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. Thank you guys.
Right now, when Michael Morrison's bitch, Grant.
Put that right there.
And
You
Michael
never
Morrison-
miss it.
Tommy,
Yeah.
you come back in 3 hours, you think that footprint's going to be exposed? No chance.
If you put your shoe right there in 3 hours, it's still going to be there. You'll know it's there.
Hey Grant, watch this. These are buttons from my new coat.
You put them right there.
Oh my God, they're gone. I can't see them. Where'd they go?
Like, this is
Where'd they go?
All right, let's come back in 4 hours.
I want you to put something
Unreal.
color of a tail
No,
light
I
down
really
there.
do think that's
Yeah,
a
wow.
bright red to measure snow on top of it. Kind of similar.
Red, right?
I mean, that's,
Now let's come
that
back
was
in 3-4 hours.
the whole issue with him was like, dude, you can't, like, why can't you just fucking answer a simple question, bro? Like, there's no fucking way you're saying, oh, the tail light was covered up by the snow. Get the fuck out of here. That doesn't add up. That doesn't add up. Why didn't anybody in the house see John O'Keefe laying there? Like, it makes no sense. Oh, Angie, yeah, thank you. Angie says, oh, well, anyways, welcome home. Yeah, sorry, I just, I appreciate it, though. It's nice that people want to come over here and cook for me, but yeah.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
How dare you?
New Hampshire dude, thank you. Just because you kick ass. You kick ass too, bro. Thanks, man. Michelle Smith gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Right. Yeah, let's watch the rest of this. This is only a couple minutes, so.
That's still visible when I look at-
How can you miss it? And how
Because
far
I'm
away are we?
right, Aiden.
That's not even right.
I also am laughing because I said I'm going to call Leah Ferreira, and every time I say her name, he freaks out.
Right.
That's not what the fuck. You've never even saw it. You asked Lindsay to go meet with Leah Ferreira.
It's gone. What are we gonna
Aiden,
do,
that's
buddy?
a tough question. Why did you ask Lindsay to have a meeting with Leah Ferreira?
Hold on.
I know. I want a comment from you on the record. In December of 2023, why did you ask Lindsay Gattani to meet with Leah Ferreira? Was it about Brian Tully? I want an answer.
What?
Why did you ask Lindsay Gattani in December of 2023 to meet with FBI field agent Leah Ferreira from the southeast of
Why
Massachusetts?
would I ask her that?
I'm asking you, why did you ask
I
her to
didn't.
meet? Have you ever given out Leah Ferreira's cell phone number?
No.
Who's Shanae Sokuda?
I have no idea.
Who's Samuel Wiener?
Wiener?
I know, right? I thought it was a fake name too. He's an agent from the
What's
Worcester
name
field
for it?
office.
I have no idea.
He called the Holden police on your behalf.
Did he?
Turtle Boy said, Wiener?
You got receipts? Oh, also, Kate Peter wiretapped an FBI agent who reached out to Ashley Bell.
So, Grant, how do you
I
think?
gotta go.
Oh, can't answer the
come
tough
on,
questions, Grant.
Come on,
No,
Grant.
I really don't want to talk about where that
Where's your
goes.
receipts?
I have lots of them, and I don't want to
No, you
talk
don't.
about where that
Seriously.
shit goes. I don't want to talk about where that shit goes.
Grant, do you have any comment
about
about?
Mommy, I don't want to talk about it.
Grant, do you have any comment about the lawsuit that I filed in Worcester Superior Court?
Oh!
Do you have any comment on that? How's that going?
I don't agree.
Are you
Where are you going, Grant? Where are you going, Grant?
So, you educate who's going to file lawsuits against you.
You're
Jen McKay.
At this point, Turtle Boy's just stalking him. Like you're not getting away. Like as long as you're standing in front of me, dude, I'm gonna get you on fucking camera, bro. Like I'm gonna I want to know, because what's going on here is this whole Lindsay Gattani bullshit. Like he's completely and totally into her. He's totally. I don't want to say obsessed, because I'm not trying to make Grant out to be a fucking psycho. You know what I mean? but he's clearly fucking under her spell, and it's just sad to watch, especially somebody like her. Like, she's horrible, and only somebody who, I imagine Grant being not exactly that popular with the ladies, would fall for her bullshit and not see exactly what she is, which is a fucking nut and an asshole. At this point, knowing what we know now, hearing the recordings that we've heard, all this shit, knowing everything we know, because I understand being fooled. Like, you don't know crazy until the crazy comes out. You know what I mean? Like, but the crazy's been out, and Grant somehow was drawn to it. It's weird. I kind of get it. You know, maybe it's a Freudian thing, an Oedipal thing, you know, because his mom sucks so bad. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, actually, I do have a question for you. I have a question for you. If, and this is an interesting question. If Kate sent you that rumor about Colin Albert selling drugs that was false, do you have a contribution claim against her as a co-defendant?
Well, maybe she had some state police.
I don't know what that means. I know you're joking.
What does that mean? You've never heard that in my life.
There he goes, ladies and gentlemen. The last American journalist right there.
There he goes.
The last American journalist, y'all. There he goes.
Stuart.
Oh my God. All right. So listen, guys, right now, okay? Right now, I'm going to need you guys to do something for me here. Okay? I'm going to log off. Okay? I'm going to end this. I'm really, really glad I got to hang out with you guys today. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you guys, those who were there at the courthouse today. Thank you guys for being so kind to me and being so welcoming and hospitable. You guys are always so amazing when I'm in town, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more of you guys while I'm here. So thank you guys so much. Those of you watching, thank you guys for all the support. Please make sure to hit the like. It really helps me out a lot. And please subscribe if you're not subscribed already. If you're new subscribers, I realize I got some new subscribers today. I really hope you're enjoying the channel. This is not my usual setup. Obviously, I'm visiting from out of town. And man, I miss Clubber so bad. That's part of the reason why I didn't sleep very well last night. It's like my first night that I didn't like fall asleep with Clubber just cuddling with me in a while since the last time I came here. I am I really I miss him a lot. So but you guys are just fantastic. So thank you guys. Again, if you're new subscribers, I hope you're enjoying the channel. I hope you enjoy it moving forward. I am really grateful to you guys for all your support and everything like that. But what I want you to do right now, before I leave, stop whatever you're doing. Okay? Actually, click on this link on your way out. Okay? And give it a like. Actually, watch it. Go in the chat. Tell Nurse Kim it's a glare raid, because Nurse Kim right now has Nan Gallagher on. I will have Nan Gallagher on soon. It's just I had this. I like to keep these things on the down low, so I really couldn't give a good reason why I was having a hard time coming up with a time to schedule her on my show or whatever. But she is live on Nurse Kim right now. And so make sure, go over to Nurse Kim's and let her know it's a glare raid. And show her lots of love. and show Nan Gallagher lots of love. She's fantastic. So, guys, there's the link again. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. You guys are absolutely fantastic. I love you guys very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.